Hurricane Matthew strengthened overnight and is on track to hammer Florida later today.
Our top story, LSU Florida football won't happen this weekend. Postponed this afternoon because of Hurricane Matthew.
The game needs to be played. This conference often describes itself as a family. A family has points of tension.
Dodging a game? Wow.
After having to postpone this game, originally scheduled for October 8th, there's been plenty of mudslinging from both sides and the media on who was to blame, stoking an already pretty contentious rivalry even more.
It's caught at the 35-yard line and a broken tackle. He's going to go all the way. Yes, sir. Guys trying to lead over the top. Touchdown, LSU!
A Hail Mary that's full of grace. A miracle finish.
And so now it's the 64th edition. The Home Depot SEC on CBS brings us the Tigers of LSU and the Gators of Florida from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville. Homecoming here in Gainesville, the 94th edition of Homecoming. The parade yesterday, well attended. Everybody doing the Gator chomp, obviously, getting prepared for LSU and homecoming here for the 7th time they're going to play LSU in homecoming. Well, we're chomping at the bit, too. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler along with Gary Danielson. Well documented there, Gare, what happened a year ago. There might have been some thin gator skin and some ruffled tiger fur, I guess, over what happened. They better worry about this year, and especially LSU coming off their homecoming loss to Troy last weekend.
You know, Brad, you read about a team and you say, okay, were they really manhandled? So you turn on the tape. I watched 2 games, Mississippi State and Troy. I saw a lot of frustrated football players. I saw a lot of guys that were NFL players not there. I saw a lot of injuries. But most of all, I saw a team that says, hey, we're LSU. Why is this happening to us? There were a lot of opportunities. LSU wasn't making the plays.
Well, we'll see if they do today. They got some of their key guys back a little bit healthier.
You know, if you're going to go on the road and you're inconsistent, you need your star players. And they're going to have them. Darius Geis, number 1. They are a different football team when he is carrying the ball. He makes all 10 other players on that offense a much better, one of the stars in our league. And Arden Key on defense, he is going to help this offense with his ability to just make big plays on defense. I think we're going to see the best Arden Key we've seen all year. He had a great week of practice, we are told.
Well, Florida, of course, well documented. They lost a lot of players to suspension. They're trying to find some new stars. They have in Malik Davis, Freddie Swain, guys like that, but they need their quarterback to be consistent.
Brad, we always like to talk about other guys that help the quarterback, but the plain truth is you can't hide your quarterback. You might be able to do it to your right guard or, you know, a safety or something, but it's hard in this league to win if you're managing your quarterback. He has to come through. He has to take that next step to beat LSU.
Well, he did pretty well in relief last week, so maybe he can carry it over to this week.
He has to. I mean, there's no way to do it. He's the quarterback.
All right, we'll see how he does. And as you take a look at our home away from home here in Gainesville, the I-Cruiser always going down I-85, I-75, one of those I's. Big tailgate party over there. Kickoff coming up. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell, The Home Depot, Aflac, and by Wheels Up. So just about set as you look in on the swamp, and it is a swamp today. Close to 90 degrees, feels like 100. And of course the heat on LSU and their coaching staff this week. Here's Allie.
Coach, there's no doubt the loss to Troy last week was shocking to this football program, so much so it led to a coaches meeting with the AD, a meeting with leaders of this team, and eventually an all-out heart-to-heart with the program. Yeah. What did all of those meetings accomplish that will translate today?
One team, playing a lot closer together, leadership. Those guys are so fired up. We know this is going to be a battle. We're ready to do our best job today for the LSU Tiger family. They deserve it.
You could really use a big game from Darius Geis, who is not yet 100%, and also Arden Keough is yet to live up to his potential. What can we expect from those two today?
Arden's going to go as hard as he can. We're going to smell him when he gets tired. Darius and Darryl will alternate. We're going to use him throughout the whole game. We come in guns a-blazing.
And lastly, Coach, just how crucial is this win, not only for the confidence of your players, but for these LSU fans?
We need it, and I want to thank our fan base for sticking with us. Go Tigers.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
As only O can do it, right?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, LSU, communication off the field is cool, but LSU needs to communicate on the field. They're making too many mistakes in the secondary and on the offensive line, missed assignments.
Jim McElwain's only lost one game in the Swamp, and now his third year, 13-1 on his home field. And has the best 19-game starts as a head coach at Florida since Steve Spurrier. 16-3. There's Mac. Just another nice, cool October day in Gainesville. 89. Feels like 100, and that's just in the booth. Feels like about 120 on the field when you're wearing pads.
I live here, it doesn't feel that bad to me. So I got to say it might be an advantage for Florida if they feel this, because I feel it's normal.
I don't ever think of you as normal. LSU won the toss and deferred. There's the all-time series. This is the 64th meeting. If you make a lot of the fact that LSU is Florida's homecoming, it has happened before. This is the 7th time. Most recently, 2006, LSU was the homecoming date for the Gators.
Yeah, but don't you think, Brad, that that's something that off the record Ed Orgeron has sold to his team?
Right, no doubt.
They made us, come on. We made Troy our homecoming team.
See how that worked out. Cameron Gamble's got it teed up. Dre Massey is back deep for Florida. And we're underway in Gainesville. Massey's going to field it about 2 yards deep. Little hesitation and only got across to the 17-yard line. Let's take a look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineups, starting with the quarterback. And we've already talked at length about this guy who has to come through. Highly regarded at one point. LSU thought he'd be on his team. Les Miles did, at least. But now he's the redshirt freshman, Felipe Franks.
Yeah, actually committed to LSU and then changed his mind. McElwain sold him at there would be a little more stability here at Florida and a better chance long term. And he's here. He has been managed. Let's be honest about that. They have played for him not to lose the game.
Starts at the 17. Play fake and the throwback screen to Pirine. He's got some room in front. And LeMichael dropped the ball at the end of the play. I think he was ruled down. There was a Gator there anyway. But a nice pickup on first down.
I think at the end of the play, it might have been number 49, Arden Keough, that makes that play. He's playing the right defensive end. He runs it down, cut back.
That ball was out.
And inside the ball is out. There is no doubt about that.
And Martez Ivey is the guy on top of it, the left tackle.
Kevin Tolliver put the hit on him and the ball popped out. Ivey gets a big recovery.
Huge play by the left tackle, who normally you don't hear about him unless he makes a mistake. In that case, right on top of it.
Look at this. Florida's running LSU's offense. Shift and run.
And go down for no gain. Pirine stopped by Donnie Alexander. Rest of the Florida Gators offense. We mentioned Freddie Swain, big play in the Kentucky game. He's going to have to come up big because Tyree Cleveland, the #1 receiver, out today.
When you consider they lost Antonio Callaway, here goes a little bit of the Wildcat right to start out with here. Kadarius Toney. Yep.
They put him in a lot of different spots. This time he's going to hand off to Davis, and Malik, tough run, good run, out to the 39-yard line.
Oh, and Kadarius Toney got hit on the handoff, and he comes limping off. hands it off, comes up, and just at the end of the play got rolled his right ankle. Watch him roll up the tackle.
Plants his foot, and then that happens.
Yes.
Ouch.
And that is a playmaker they cannot afford to lose.
Motioning to his calf area. 3rd down and 2, meanwhile, on the field. Davis behind Franks, gets the carry and trying to spin his way. He's not going to get there. Devin White, as he's done so many times, with the tackle.
One more look at Tony's injury. Battle rolls into him on his ankle, foot, right leg area. But, you know, you could see starting out in this football game, no way. They're not going to go for it here. I know that McElwain is kind of less McElwain here at Florida, but this early in the game, I don't believe it. They're going to try to draw him off sides.
4th down and 1. And whistle out of timeout.
Second thoughts?
I should hope so.
Timeout. Florida.
12:36 in the first quarter. It was a 4th and 1. I think they'll think twice about that. Get the CBS Sports app for the fastest scores and inside access to LSU, Florida. All your favorite teams. Download the CBS Sports app today. Now, before that timeout, Florida faced a 4th and 1. We'll see if they come out with their punting unit. Nope, they won't, because there's their quarterback.
Yeah, a little tip off from Florida, too. All their defenders started moving down to the right side of your screen. They heard it was going to be a punt.
So it'll be Johnny Townsend averaging just under 49 a kick, and DJ Chark is back deep.
That was a big stop by this LSU defense. Yeah. Remember, they had been run up the middle on, and they were challenged on 3rd and 4, and they answered the challenge for LSU against the Florida running game.
Chark back at the 10-yard line, has a touchdown return this season already. Townsend kick, mile high. Fair catch called for and taken around the 17-yard line. We'll have LSU offensively for the first time when we return to the Swamp after this. No score in the first 2.5 minutes in Gainesville as we take a look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineup for LSU. Danny Etling making his 29th career start, 12 at Purdue, this being his 17th start at LSU.
Yeah, 2 ends of the spectrum here. You know, Florida's got a potentially great quarterback going up, and they've got a senior here going for LSU.
Here's some of the guys that he'll play with on that first snap from the 17-yard line, including, we mentioned, DJ Chark, their leading receiver, coming in, and he goes out to the top of your screen. Now there's a little bit of noise at the Swamp. 2 tight ends set. One of those, John David Moore in motion. Etling going to flare it out to Darius Geis. And Darius got about 5 for number 5. And the rest of the offense looks like this. Nice to have Geis back, and as Coach Orgeron said to Ali before, will spell him at times because neither he nor Darrell Williams is 100%.
I think it's also nice to have Dobie Weathersby, number 66, the right tackle in this game. When you're playing with 2 true freshmen on the right side of the line, that is difficult.
Here's the shifting of the new LSU offense. A lot of movement. And jet sweep to Derek Dillon, and Dillon got free on the corner. Nick Washington knocked him out of bounds, or he might have still been running.
Yeah, good block that time from Tony Carter, one of the H-back fullbacks in this offense. Right here, watch the end of it. Every play in this offense, you have a jet sweep potential. They're either faking it when they're lined up with those tight ends, they're faking that jet sweep.
He got 29 yards to get it into Gator territory. Back to Geis for a short gain as we take a look at the Florida Gators defensively. And they've got 8 guys they rotate on that defensive line. They're pretty deep there. Chauncey Gardner led them in interceptions a year ago. The backfield He's got a couple of young guys in the secondary. Williams and Geis both in there right now on 2nd down and 9. They fake the jet sweep, and it's a shovel pass on the inside to Williams. It'll bring up 3rd down.
That is really fancy ball handling in there, isn't it? There's a lot of things happening at the same time. It's going to take great eye discipline for the linebackers for Florida. And really, if you wanted to know in an area that Florida might be most vulnerable, is linebacker. I mean, you know, 2 of them are playing in the NFL.
Right.
Anzalone and Davis.
And 3 of their guys from the secondary last year are playing in the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to get there.
You were going to get to the second level eventually. 3rd down and 5. Chark, the motion man, from just outside the Gator 42. Etling running out of time, now running out of trouble, and throws at the last moment as he's going down.
Now, if you're going to throw the ball against Florida, you better be ready to beat man-to-man. They will lock up. They may be young, but they will lock up and play man-to-man and force you to make a good throw. Had a hitch and go set up, but not enough time against this pass rush, especially on 3rd down, obvious passing situations.
Sherrod got the original pressure, and then it was David Reese, the linebacker. That'll force Rowden to punt. Fair catch around the 13-yard line for Florida.
Just to keep an eye, it looked like Etling limped off a little bit to me there too on that last play.
One of those timeouts already gone. We'll be back after this timeout. No score. Tomorrow, NFL on CBS brings you regional action. Jaguars battling the Steelers. Ravens head west, take on the Raiders. You kick off your day with JB, Phil, Coach, Nate, and Boomer. The NFL Today presented by Southwest Airlines. Noon Eastern. Well, worst starting field position for Florida from the first time they had it. Started at the 17, this time from the 14-yard line. LSU defensively led by Devin White right now. He's been their leading tackler 4 of the 5 games so far, and he's got a couple already today. So here's Franks. To line up the offense at the 14. Play action. Rolls, looking to throw. Fires late and got it complete. Good throw out to Josh Hammond.
Well, it was a great job by Josh Hammond that time. He really hustled to get in front of Felipe Franks. He's coming across the field. I think that's right there. And he hustles. He had to work hard to get in front of the quarterback to be seen. If he'd have just trotted and stuck his hand up, Felipe would have had no chance to find him. Really good hustle play by Hammond.
And a first down out to the 25. Powell will flush out of the backfield. Malik Davis behind Franks. They come right back to Powell. Broke a tackle across the 30. Another first down. Brandon Powell picks up 11.
Arden Key was really close. This is the quickness that you can see on tape when Arden Key becomes that All-American that everybody thinks he is. Watch how quick he recognizes this and almost knocks that down. 6'5" on the wing out there. Almost made the play.
Down around 255, they say now.
Yes, you know, he was away from football for what, 4 months?
Right.
Did not go to spring football, no fall camp. No hitting at all until they got into the season, and then he has to go out there and play real football. That is tough for any player on any level.
Had shoulder surgery in June, so that was part of the issue too. Back-to-back first downs for Florida. Davis spins backwards for a couple.
When we met with Dave Aranda, the second-year defensive coordinator, remember the great job he did a year ago when they allowed the fewest touchdowns in all of college football, just 16. He was just so perturbed about the lack of tackling execution. He goes, it's hard to watch out there and see the missed tackles from our linebackers and secondary. And for all of us that have followed LSU football for a long time, you're just not used to seeing that.
Kadarius County back in the Wildcat again. He fakes the pass and comes straight ahead. Nothing wrong with his leg on that one. First down.
Boy, that was well blocked, wasn't it? I mean, Goolsby came in. Heggie, number 61, pulls around, kick out, block out one side. Goolsby is there, but really nobody to block on the play. But that's how you run the Wildcat, just like that.
Corey Thompson got hit by his own man at the end of that play, and he's still down.
And you know, one of the things I said, I watched the Mississippi State game, and if you're watching that tape and you're Florida, you go, we've got to run some of those plays. Taking one more look at Thompson's injury. Usually it is from your own teammate, gets spun into him.
You're going to see 26 come in, and he had a stinger last week, and that's not going to help his stinger right there.
That's right.
That's for sure. We'll check on Corey when we come back. A couple of the new playmakers for Florida on the left. Kadarius Toney on the right. Mike Davis. Here's some of the things they did a week ago. Career high for Malik Davis, 124 yards rushing. And then we already seen Kadarius today in the Wildcat or the Wild Gator or whatever you want to call it, but he can move. Mark Thompson in the backfield for Florida for the first time. He's the veteran, number 24. Play action. Franks wants a bunch. Throwing deep. Overthrew everybody.
Well, that's good defense. LSU did not bite at all. They were ready for that football play. Battle was back there. They're playing man-to-man to the outside of this play. And then the safety just stays home. Get deeper than deep. Force that throw over your head. That is good defense. First down play action passes in college football are usually put a lot of stress on the defense. That was well defended.
Here's Franks now. The quarterback is a wide receiver as they go back to Kadarius Toney on the keeper, and he only got a yard. Nice job by Dante Jackson off the corner.
You know,
what's short gain.
You know, what's interesting about Kadarius Toney is because of the injury to Luke Del Rio, Malik Zaire was not here for spring football. Toney played quarterback all spring, so he's used to handling the snap. He's used to going in that position. And as I was trying to say is Mississippi State hurt LSU with a running quarterback. Not surprised at all that Nussmeier and McElwain are trying to take advantage of that offense.
Kadarius put up huge numbers as a quarterback in high school. Third down 9. Franks, the pocket holds for him. The throw incomplete, intended for Josh Hammond. I thought that was catchable, but
yeah, but right there it would have been a contested play. Kevin Tolliver playing man-to-man, challenging all over the field. Decent protection on third down, makes the throw, but look, it's going to be contested, and it wasn't a well-thrown ball that time to Hammonds.
A little bit of a slip.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And rather than a poor thrown ball, it was more of a slip.
Townsend's punt. Chark will take it. First man missed. Second one won't. Goes down around the 14-yard line. Nice hustle by Goolsby on the special teams. TV's best night of comedy begins with new episodes of The Big Bang Theory. 9JKL. Kevin Can Wait and me, myself, and I. It all starts Monday at 8, 7 Central. Only CBS. Get some laughs on Monday. We're still looking for a home team to score for the first time.
Yeah, we got our string
going. 3 weeks, we got our string going. We're going to get T-shirts made up that said 100-0, right, but we didn't have time. At the 14-yard line.
In fact, the last touchdown a home team has scored was your
Florida
against Tennessee.
On the last play of the game.
Last play of the game.
Etling the long handoff to Geis, trying to get to the edge. Nice tackle. Chauncey Gardner.
Yeah. I don't think Darius Geis may be quote unquote healthy, but I don't think he's Darius Geis. You know, he's good enough to play, but I don't know if he's good enough to dominate a football game. Chauncey Gardner, who has struggled tackling, had no problem with that one, did he?
Not at all. Second down and 8.
tackle overshifted. Weathersby right there.
Again, the tight ends shift. Darrell Williams is the tailback. They fake it to him, and Etling on a bootleg throws too high for the tight end, incomplete. Foster Moreau. Let's check in with Allie.
Guys, LSU left tackle KJ Malone is dealing with a left knee injury. He was visibly in pain, went into the tent. They took his left knee brace off. They put it back on. He came back out of the tent. He's trying to work it out on the sideline. Also, Corey Thompson, we got word from LSU that it was just a stinger, and he's cleared to go back in.
So back-to-back weeks with that problem.
But the news about KJ Malone going down is that another true freshman, Shadrick Charles, comes in the game to play. So now there's 2 true freshmen on the field for this offensive line.
And that can be problems when it's 3rd down and 8. Etling throws out in the flat. First down, Williams. Nice move to get the first down.
And also a nice move to hold onto the ball, because at the end of that play, C.C. Jefferson came in and ripped it, and it could have popped it out.
I think it's coming back if you check Danny Etling's reaction.
Body language, yes, I know that very well.
When the quarterback rolls his eyes like that, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, we're having a discussion, though, but the block in the back, I think, is going to be called, but he barely bumped him. They may pick this one up.
Personal foul, targeting on the offense, number 19. That play is under further review.
It was Derek Dillon. We saw it in that last play. From behind, he hit the player, and it must have been helmet to helmet from the back judge's view.
Dillon's a guy that had that big run on the jet sweep earlier.
Yes.
So we'll be taking a look at that one.
Coming from I believe the left side of the screen here. I don't know if we can catch it. Yes, there it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I think that should stand. You know, for years, I have been talking about the one block I would eliminate from all of football, let alone college football, at least high school and college, is the block in the opposite direction of where you're going. You should only be allowed to block the direction you're going. And that's targeting. There's no doubt about it. It's a peel back block, a blindside block, and they're going to call that targeting, and he's going to be out of the game.
John Bible's our replay official. Matt Loeffler's our referee on the field, and that's C.J. Henderson, who had a cut cheek out of that hit.
So my idea has always been that you can only block in the direction that the ball is going.
And there's no player make a forcible contact to the head or neck area to a defenseless opponent, and C.J. Henderson was coming in and did not see that coming. And that was helmet, not forearm. Any of those.
And it's one of those highlight blocks that everybody, you know, used to show 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think that's a block that the competition committee should look at. Well, what's the need? It can be done, you know, more safely. You could shield the guy off. I mean, other sports like hockey took that block, that check out of the game, and last time I looked, they're still playing hockey.
So if indeed Dillon is gone, it takes away a weapon, because he's a rusher, a receiver, does a little bit of everything.
You know, and he almost took out a weapon for Florida in C.J. Henderson. Got a little.
Here's a call.
After review, number 19 is disqualified for targeting. That's a half the distance penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
So that's the end of the day for Derek Dillon. And of course he gets booed over there heading to the tunnel from the Florida fans.
You know, that used to be a staple of football.
No
Everywhere
doubt.
you saw, that would be on, back when you were doing those games, you know.
Exactly. The blindside block.
The blindside block, the EA Sports or whatever you were doing back there with Kirk those days. That used to be a highlight that I believe should be looked at as being taken out of this game of football.
So he's out for the game, as you saw there in the red. It won't affect next week. Etling to throw on 3rd and 10. Williams.
About the same thing happened.
And he got the first down.
It was almost the same exact play. They start out by helping the left tackle who's in the game. They chip over here to help. You got a true freshman in, 3rd and long. You make sure he's got help on one side. Nobody open. Drop it off for a 1-yard pass, and you get a first down.
You saw Drake Davis out there saying, I'm not going to block anybody. I'm just going to stay in front of it so you get the first down.
Exactly.
Back to the ground. Williams got about 4. As we're under 5 minutes in the first quarter.
You know, Williams is a very competent, good back, SEC back, but he's not a game-breaking back. As we have another, is it Chauncey Gardner down?
It is.
He's going to make first downs. He's not likely to go 30 yards on you. That's what Geis can do. Right in the middle of your screen.
Chauncey comes up to make the hit, slips a little bit.
Yes, that was self-inflicted, wasn't it?
Yeah. Had a very good game against Vanderbilt last week. We'll hope that he can continue to play today. Chauncey Gardner going off under his own power, but not looking too healthy after this play.
Yeah, one more look. And part of these defenses, modern day defenses, your safeties are counted on to come up and play that gap and make that run play and keep it for 2 or 3 yards. He did his job, but now Sean Davis, a true freshman, replaces him.
They've got some really talented freshmen in that secondary, but they don't want to use all of them.
Yeah, but the key word is they're freshmen.
Exactly. There's the 3-man shift to the left on 2nd down and 8. The end around coming. Gage got a block and a hurdle.
Yep.
And a first down.
A block, a hurdle, and a first down always do well, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Duke Dawson came up to make the tackle, and you just keep running, and all of a sudden, Russell Gage says, I like this. Get the ball in my hand. Take that. And, you know, Dawson didn't go that low on the play. It's not like he went for a shoe duster there, right?
Gage originally signed as a defensive back, showed his prowess as a wide receiver and a hurdler in that case to pick up 15.
It's funny, Florida barely moves with all this shift in motion. Just the linebackers shift around. The down 4 guys never move.
They give it to Chark on a sweep. And he got positive yardage. Picks up close to 8.
That is interesting. Do you think that Matt Canada was saying something, saving something for Florida? Because the first thing Randy Shannon told us about Chark coming in motion is he has not run a jet sweep, and we do not think they're going to give it. Remember that? He said we don't think he'll give it to him.
And Randy also said when you want to figure out where the play's going, just follow the tight end.
Yep.
Problem is they always have 2 tight ends. There goes one of them. That's John David Moore who sets up, and now Chark coming back the other way. 2nd down and 2. Straight run this time, and breaking into the secondary is Williams, and he's got a first down.
Well, I'll tell you, this offensive line that caught so much havoc, so much talk radio in Baton Rouge and all over the state of Louisiana is carving out some nice runs. And again, when I watched the tape, there were plays that worked. I mean, I don't blame, you know, Ed Ogeron to saying, hey, come on, we got 2 freshmen in the game. Let's simplify things a little bit. If we can't block Troy, how good of a team are we? And I think it was good him challenging the team. They just made too many mistakes.
Right now they're blocking Florida pretty well.
Yep.
Williams sets up on a wing. Geis is a tailback. Blitz is coming. They pick it up, and that got a wide open man and overshot it.
Jeez. And that's the story of LSU this season. I mean, how can it be play calling? How can it be shift in motion being bad when you scheme a play like that and no one covers them? Your quarterback, especially a 6th-year quarterback, has to make that play.
And you know Matt Canada is pounding his head over there in the booth right now.
Well, and a bunch of other Tiger fans should be. and I believe personally, get off the fact that it's too much shift in motion. I think if you look at their penalties in the last game, of the 11 penalties, 9 of them were when they did not shift their motion.
And now they're going to take a timeout.
That's a tough one. If you're a quarterback walking over to the sideline, you know you've been scheming that all week, and you missed an easy one.
It was there, and it would have been a touchdown. 2:21 remaining in the quarter. LSU will talk it over.
Welcome back to Gainesville. We have yet to see a score with just a little over 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Guys, a quick update on Florida's Chauncey Gardner. He has a right ankle injury. He was on the trainer's table, and the trainers moved quickly. They untaped him, retaped the ankle, put his shoe back on, and taped it again over top of the shoe. He's doing some drills on the sideline, but has good range of motion as of right now and should be able to go back in.
That's good news. Thanks, Allie. 2:21 in the quarter. Second down at 10. Both Geis and Williams in the lineup. Geis now on a wing on the right side at the 42-yard line. He comes in motion one way. Williams goes with the ball the other, and only got about 2.
That's good defense. That is what Randy Shan is talking about. A lot of window dressing, but keep your eye on the tailback and don't go for the window dressing. The linebackers stay home. Reese that time stays home, number 33, and makes the play. Little help that time from Sean Joseph, number 11, but that's good inside linebacker play.
David Reese been the lead tackler 4 straight games for the Gators in their 3-1 start to the season.
This is the time that Gator front 4 needs to dominate. It has been a weakness for LSU pass blocking. Can they make a play?
3rd down and 8. Etling, here comes the heat.
Yep, that's what you got to do.
One hopper, and now a flag comes in late. Drake Davis was the intended receiver.
Yeah, Duke Dawson held him, didn't he? See, when you're out there by yourself, you don't know a good pass rush is coming.
Right. He didn't need to hold, that's for sure.
No, well, you don't know that.
Holding. Defense. Number 7. That's a 10-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Well, he held early, and whether he held late, it doesn't matter because he grabbed the jersey early, and that time you don't have to sack the quarterback every time, but they sure affected the quarterback that time with that pass rush.
So the Gators bailed out the Tigers on a 3rd down and 8 on this play.
This is what it looks like. You're ready to throw, and a lot of blues headed your way.
So first down by penalty at the 30-yard line. And to give to Gage again, and Gage coming the other way. Nobody home. Gage, touchdown LSU.
It's about as pretty as you can do it, isn't it?
30 yards. Nobody touched him.
Timed out beautifully. Last time they did the jet sweep motion. This time they hand it off. Nice block by Romero, number 84 that time. DJ Chalk takes his man out because Florida was playing man-to-man coverage. They had to follow him, but walked it to the end zone.
Connor Culp for the point after. And it makes it 7-0. LSU Tigers on the road. Good looking drive. They did a lot of different things. They got a freebie by penalty, but they went 86 yards in 11 plays. Get your weekend started with Thursday Night Football. Carson Wentz and the Eagles flying to Charlotte. They'll take on Cam Newton and Carolina. Light up the night with Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Well, a good-looking drive by LSU. 86 yards in 11 plays. There was a penalty on 3rd down and 8 that kept the drive alive, and then Russell Gage just cruising from 30 yards out to make it 7-0.
Misdirection runs. Those are tough to stop if you do them well. That was a great ball handling. Happiest guy in the house is Danny Etling after missing the big throw for a touchdown. Watch what misdirection does to your linebackers on this play. Here's the 2 primary run stoppers, the middle linebacker and the will linebacker. Watch what happens to them. Motion, they're following the tailback. There's no tailback. Not getting the ball. It's going out the other side as fast as it can go.
Those jet sweeps, or in this case a jet handoff, have to be timed so beautifully, and that one was sneaky.
Yeah, that was it's a mini jet right there.
So Florida will work from the 25-yard line.
We'll have to say that Russell Gage has to be feeling good. He had a couple key drops last week against Troy that really hurt the football team. Probably,
Troy gets out ahead. If he catches a couple of them, might not have been able to get that lead.
Here's Kadarius Toney again, taking the snap as the quarterback keeps it, going left for about 4, maybe 5. For Toney, time to check in on AT&T Field Pass. Here's Zook in New York.
All right, Ness, USC back home after losing at Washington State last Friday. Trojans' first possession, Sam Darnold to Tyler Vaughn's. Their second possession, Ronald Jones went in. They've won their last 23 at home against Oregon State, up 14-0 off to a good start, Brad.
All right, keep us posted. See you guys at halftime. We're almost to the end of the first quarter here in Gainesville. 7-0 LSU on the road with a lead. Felipe Franks looking left, and that's all the time he had to look. Devin White.
Holy cow.
Wow.
He's playing that rush linebacker spot that Duke Riley played a year ago, and even wanted his number. Watch number 40 right here. Times out the blitzes as good as anybody you'll see. And that's way too easy.
Yeah.
That's a bustorama for the Florida team.
Duke Riley came and talked to the team this week. He wore that 40 last year, and there was Deion Jones the year before. Those guys both play for the Falcons, who have a bye week. So he came in and talked to the defense. Had number 40 fired up. Franks this time has all day to throw. And finds a man. Going to be Hammond. And not quite a first down. Maybe they gave it to him. We'll wait and see.
You know, I think LSU thought this was going to be a screen pass. They were playing screen. The coverage was funny on the play.
The linemen were sort of out there, and so was Malik Davis.
I mean, they went zone, deep coverage, and I did not believe that they felt that. I think they only rushed 3 players. And Franks has plenty of time, and you know that should have been stopped. That's a gimme first down almost. 3rd and long like that, only rush 3, especially the way you were able to sack him on the play before.
The play is under review.
Yeah, I think where the ball was spotted.
Maybe.
Remember, he has to cross the line because it was a touchback.
I thought he was about 8 inches short.
Yeah, they're going to check his knee because he has to get to the line. Knees down right there, and I think, well, you can't tell there, but I believe he's short on the play, a half yard short. Yeah, I think he's going to be short. Like the length of a football?
Yep, somewhere there. So we only have 2 seconds remaining before the end of the quarter. And, well, think about it again. Now's the call. Now we're going to talk about it a little bit more.
After review, the player was down at the 34.5 yard line. There will be 4th and 1/2 yard line.
So that's it. Half yard short. Call on the field overturned. 12.5 on 3rd and 13.
And the real advantage here for John Bible, the replay official, is the kickoff was a touchback. So the 35 yard line is actually the new goal line on the play.
Exactly. Good call.
Again, a really risky 4th and short. I mean, you really, you know, you got going to have a end of corner to decide, but would you really risk it here?
Not me. It's the end of the quarter. 7-0 LSU. Overturned to Gainesville after this message and a word from your local station. Set to start the second quarter with a punt from Johnny Townsend. LSU with a touchdown lead. That's DJ Chark back deep. And he has to backpedal. Nice kick. Fields it at the 5 yard line, and now he's in some trouble. Gets out maybe to the 6. Great kick, great coverage, and LSU has to start in a hole with their offense at the beginning here of the second quarter. Nice kick. And a man down, Goolsby on the play on the special teams. He already made one nice play earlier in the ball game. And we welcome you back to the Swamp, everybody. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. There was a lot made that Ed Orgeron had told Matt Canada too much motioning and all that in the early part of the season. They're doing it today, and I like what they're doing.
Well, I think it was a double-edged decision by Ed, and I really didn't have a problem with it. He had 2 true freshman linemen playing in the game. He figured, listen, we're going to play Florida next week. Let's simplify it, not have a lot of mistakes, get through the Troy game, rest Geis, who wasn't ready, and you turn it over 3 times.
Right.
You shifted motion all you want. You turn it over 3 times, you're going to lose a lot of games.
They had a couple missed passes probably in that first quarter, but nonetheless with a touchdown lead. And again, put the man down on the play. We'll take a look at it again. It was DeAndre Goolsby, who, as I mentioned, made a nice play on special teams earlier.
I think it might be Garrett Stevens.
Yeah,
right. That's a double 30. Stevens is one of the punt return guys and punt block guys. Actually blocked a punt early in the year for Florida. And Goolsby's just a plain old tight end. And I think Stevens might have hurt his knee as it went out from under him as he tried to stop here. Watch his. Oh, yeah, it was already gone by the time the end of that play.
Stevens, a redshirt senior out of Louisville. Down on the play.
I think it was Brett that blocked the punt against Michigan in the opener of that game.
One of the few things that went right along with the 2 pick sixes in the Michigan game. Their only loss for Florida this season. And we're going to take a break. This almost looks like a cart issue. I hate to say that. 14:48 in the quarter. Just moments ago, and I said going to the break, it might be a cart issue, and we hate seeing that. So Garrett Stevens heading to the locker room. Chauncey Gardner comes over, give him a little love on the way to the locker room.
Especially
his day's done.
Townsend, the punter, he knows how good Stevens was as a gunner on that punt team.
Even with the pain, he's trying to fire up the crowd on homecoming here as he heads to the tunnel. Meanwhile, back on the field, it's LSU deep in their own territory. First down at the 7. Williams.
And he's tough. He's a load.
Yep, up to the 12.
4, 5, 6 yards. Last week, Vanderbilt really didn't test the Florida team running the ball. They threw. I mean, they kind of exposed some weaknesses in the passing game. But LSU is being LSU in this game so far. A little bit of everything. Trying to keep this Florida defense off balance, and I think they have succeeded in that.
There you see, closing in on 100 yards on the ground already. And again, it's a jet sweep. This worked for a touchdown last time. This won't work for a first down this time. They've done a lot of that already, though.
Well, there is an understanding or a thought that the only way to run the jet sweeps is out of shotgun or out of spread. But Matt Canada, in his offense, features it out of his 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, wing backs. He does it about everything.
And his quarterback under center.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's Matt, offensive coordinator.
I really believe he bristled a little bit last week, being said, don't run my offense. He basically told us when we met with him, listen, we shifted motion from the very first day I took the job. I don't think he believed that's the reason why they weren't working. I pointed out 2 or 3 plays that were there that didn't work, and he kind of jumped on the bandwagon with that, didn't he, real fast?
It was either fumbles or penalties or something.
Exactly.
But today, everything's clicking so far.
He had an early touchdown called back against Mississippi State. That was a questionable call, at least to the LSU faithful.
Passing game, not so much for LSU, but they haven't had to throw that much because of the ground game and the jet sweeps.
Man, look at all that movement.
Chark gets it this time. And number 7 brought down by number 7. Duke Dawson makes the tackle.
This to me is a little bit, this Matt Canada offense is a little bit like defending Georgia Tech. They spread you out. So many things are happening at the same time. Canada is so familiar with his offense, with the overloads, the unbalanced lines, the quick motions, and they can catch you getting around the end before you even think it. It's hard to plant your cleats if you're a defense.
And that's what Randy Shannon wants his guys to do, to be in position. Don't do a lot of jumping around.
Especially the front seven. He said, we'll let our DBs move around, but our front seven has to keep their eyes.
8 guys in the box right now, and it pays off because Geis has stopped at the line. And a helmet popped off. Somebody's going to miss a play. Sherritt made the stop.
Yeah, Jordan Sherritt stayed home that time. And that's what Randy's saying. Stay home. Don't move around. The ball will come back to you. Sherritt's up here. Watch him just look in. He's not blocked on the play. He's finessed, and he refuses to be finessed.
Third down at 5.
Yeah, Charles is out of the game this time, and we've got another true freshman coming in, number 76, DeCoulis.
Charles out because his helmet came off. And now LSU going to take their second timeout. Right at the 12-minute mark in the first half. LSU with a football and a touchdown lead. And now do Project Smarter, presented by Home Depot. Smart thing to do, get these two teams together, put them on TV because it's usually fun.
Yeah, we were there for a lot of these, Vern and I, Brad. The jump pass, that started it all. Remember that?
Yep, that was the last time it was homecoming, LSU and Florida here.
Yeah, we did that night game. That was a primetime game with Tebow, and that was Les going for it 5 times to win that battle.
And then the fake kicks. They've been some good ones.
Yep. The Mad Hatter.
Yeah, and the hammer and nail rant by Les.
Yeah, this game has got a lot of history. Another fake field goal in 2015. And, of course, last year. I mean, all the shenanigans, all the talk, all the movement, and LSU thought for sure. And then what happens this year?
Welcome to the swamp for homecoming.
If you can remember all of those, you're smarter than I am.
That's right.
Had to have it played out in front of us.
We did. Third down at 5. Florida thinking about a blitz. Etling's going to keep this one himself and get the first down and a bunch more. And now just trying to get down inside the 40.
Brad, this was actually a designed run, this play. All the way. Watch the pull around. This is a keeper all the way for the quarterback. Follows the running back, Williams. This was all designed, and this was the last time Randy Shannon blitzed on third and medium, and this time they go with the running play, and not good news. Will Clapp down on the field, the center. And remember, just because you wear LSU uniforms and helmets doesn't mean you're LSU 5-star. You start going deep into that depth chart,
right.
Start to look like a lot of other teams.
And Coach Orgeron has said that's the biggest part of the problem right now for LSU, their lack of depth.
Adam Zucker in New York with this Ford update. 4 touchdowns in under 8 minutes to start the game in Columbus. J.T. Barrett to Benjamin Victor. They fumbled the snap on the extra point. It is 20-7 Buckeyes right now on Maryland as we go back to Brad, Gary, and Allie.
All right, Adam, thanks. It's Will Clapp on the sideline, walked off under his own power. Junior center. Here's another look at how he was shaken up.
Yeah, it's Reese right here who's going to blitz on the play, and he bumps knee or foot to knee on Clapp. Clapp walks off that time, so I would expect him back. Lloyd Cushenberry, number 79, comes in, another freshman on the line.
And he's got to snap it in the shotgun to Etling.
Got him.
Florida jumps off.
I think that's exactly who it is. Our cameraman, the guy, know who it is.
For the snap, false start. No. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Deculus, the right tackle, jumped.
Well, that's one of the 3 freshmen on the offensive line at right tackle, right there at the bottom of your screen, number 76.
Just a little flinch.
Yeah, a little flinch. Jabari Zaninga says Danielson, not so fast.
Come on, Gary, I've been around. I played this position. Fake it to Gage this time, and Geis. You're right, he doesn't look like Darius Geis right now.
When I watched Darius Geis run, when he was making a run at the SEC last year, he would spin and violently run forward. And, you know, I'm not comparing him to Walter Playton, but he had that viciousness, the way he ran. He'd set the ball forward. He just doesn't look like the same guy we saw last year, and Will Clapp comes in after one play. That little Sam Weish muddle huddle right there.
Chark in motion. Second down and 12. Play action. Etling steps up in the pocket and goes down in the pocket. What little pocket there was. Zuniga again making a play for Florida.
Yeah,
that's homecoming here.
Oh,
and,
yeah, there's some
brings
guys.
That brings Heisman Trophy guys around. Danny Warfel on the left. Tim Tebow getting a picture there on the right.
That's his. I think that's his 5 millionth picture here that he's taken with somebody.
Spent a little time with Tim last night. And of course, the third Heisman Trophy winner is the ball coach.
That's
Steve
something
Spurrier.
I thought I'd never hear. You and Tim Tebow at the same place at night.
Well, it was kind of out in the lobby. Trust me, he wasn't where I was. You guys all know that. Third down and 19. And here's Williams. Ooh, he took a hit. And it's David Reese again, the middle linebacker.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this Florida defense has now served notice. He and Jabari Zuniga, number 92, like, let's tune it up. Let's run. Let's make some tackles. Let's try to get this crowd into the game and kind of dare our offense to make some plays. Flag on the field, huh? Not quite sure what it was.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 83 on the offense, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 7 on the defense. Those are both players' first of the game. Those penalties will cancel. Fourth down.
So Russell Gage and Duke Dawson doing a little jawing, I guess.
However, two important things to look forward. If we get one more, they'll be out of the game, and two important players.
And remember, Derek Dillon's already gone because of a targeting foul.
Right. Right side of your screen, flips the ball.
Oh
man.
Okay.
One guy was talking and one guy was swinging.
Von Rosenberg in to punt. The left footer, not a good kick, unless it takes a great bounce. And it bounces out of bounds around the 23-yard line.
Duke Dawson's, I think, fortunate that he's in the game.
I agree with you.
I mean, one thing jawing, it's another thing turning around and hitting a guy.
Adam Zucker in New York. Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, Rick, BJ, and I get you caught up on the day's action, including the shocker as Iowa State ends Oklahoma's winning streak. Kyle Kemp, 2 career passes before today, leading the Cyclones to victory in Norman. Now back to Gainesville.
Wow, first big upset of the season, really. This is the previous play before the timeout.
Yeah, everything seemed normal. And then Duke Dawson kind of shoves him with his right hand, and then a nice left hook with his left hand.
Yeah, that was a combination.
Yes.
There's the left.
That's the end of it.
Yeah. I think Duke's lucky he's not
I
gone.
think so too.
That's what Russell Gage is saying. Why isn't he gone?
I think Russell Gage might have been saying more than that at the beginning.
Well, I think so too. So Florida at the 23-yard line, trailing by a touchdown. And now,
watch out, they have some trick plays off of this.
Here it might be a flea flicker if Franks can find a man. Lofts one to nobody. Incomplete around the 50.
Yeah, I've seen that in practice numerous times. When Felipe Franks goes in motion, they have a play off of it. He actually missed LaMichael Pirine on the play, his safety valve. Pirine is going to get it, then toss it back. It's a flea flicker, well defended by LSU, but he's got Pirine late. Wide open, he's going to get a positive thing, and he throws it away from the pocket. He may get intentional grounding as well.
He took a big shot to the midsection at the end of the play, that's for sure. And as Gary said, a flag.
Yep, intentional grounding. He panicked on the play. It would have been better to throw the ball downfield than out of bounds. And that's the trouble of calling trick plays for a young quarterback. If it's not managed well, you end up with second and long.
Now they keep it on the ground. Draw play. Pirine still going to bring up third down and long.
Have to give a lot of credit to the safeties for LSU. Twice on first down, Florida went for the big home run ball and battle, and a true freshman, Grant Delpit, number 9, both stayed back and played the play.
Now an empty backfield on 3rd down and 15. Now they're going to bring P. Ryan back to join Franks in the backfield. Fires on the sideline, got a man, and a first down to Brandon Powell. So that worked well and a good throw.
There's only one way to throw a deep ball like this, and that is great protection up front. A lot of love has been coming to this offensive line in the run game, but look at that protection and that pocket for Franks to step into and make the throw, allow Brandon Powell to get way deep into the secondary and get open.
That's got to give number 13 a little bit of confidence.
Or how about the guy calling plays with that offensive line doing that?
No doubt. And here's another tough run. You know, we talked to Doug Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, and we talked about Felipe, and he said it's the procedural communication that he's got to work. That's his terminology. We're going to let Gary take over about what the thought process that goes through this kid's head on every play.
And it's one of the most misunderstood things about playing quarterback. If you watched Luke Del Rio do it last week, part of playing quarterback is getting your team up and moving and get the play called, communicating, make sure you're in the right formation, and then go through your reads. At the same time, know that that clock is going down and down.
And this helps when you got a big run from your tailback, P. Ryan.
So they came out and they threw the ball a little bit. And when you can throw the ball a little bit, you can start doing other things. Nice job that time by Brett Heggie, number 61, coming out and taking the point of attack. But now the no huddle is something I think Felipe Franks is pretty comfortable in too, Brad. Is he did that in high school. He's not used to huddling a lot, still learning that part of it. But you could see a couple of good plays, gets it going.
Here's another one. Another 9-yard pickup by P. Ryan.
The number one thing that Doug Nussmeier wanted Felipe to do is, after he threw it or after he hands off the ball, let it go. Look to the sideline, get the play, collect your thoughts, go over down and distance, understand the situations, understand the play clock. After you get there, now when you get up, communicate to your players.
Now you've still got plenty of time.
And
18.
now you to comfortably snap the ball.
And give it to Malik Davis, who breaks free as he did a week ago. Into the secondary, it's 1st and goal, Florida.
Everyone is so much more comfortable when the quarterback is comfortable.
25-yard gain that time.
Well, he went that time right at Jawan Taylor, number 65. When you talk to the coaches for LSU, they circled him as one of the best tackles they've seen on tape in all of the SEC.
1st and goal for the Gators at the LSU 7. Straight ahead to the 5. And the Verizon Red Drone for Florida this year, 9 for 9, 7 touchdowns. And again, now Felipe doing his job, looking to the sideline and going through what Gary's been talking about.
I'll tell you right, the CBS crew may shoot off fireworks if they put this in the end zone, right?
It would be a home team score for the first time in about 3 weeks. 2nd down and goal, and now Tony again in a Wildcat. From the 5. Low snap. Gives it off. About a yard for Davis. That's it.
And Greg Gilmore that time, number 99. There have been a lot of injuries. They did not have Rashard Lawrence, number 90 last week. But when you watch the tape, Greg Gilmore, the senior, number 99, was so impressive with his effort, the way he played all game, no matter what the score was. Gilmore played like the LSU fans want their defensive linemen to play.
Career high 9 tackles and a sack in that game last week. 7 rushes, 2 passes, 10th play of the drive. It's covered 73 yards.
Will Aranda come after him?
3rd down and goal. Powell flushes out of the backfield. Franks is looking that way, waiting. Throwing. No, he's not going to get a throw off. Run out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, they just sat there. They lined up with their feet on the goal line, and they forced Franks to read these guys inside here. Man-to-man to the outside, and they just were looking at two guys right on the line of, well, actually three, lined up with their heels right on the end zone and forced Franks to try to find somebody.
Got all the way over there. Looked like it was going to be a Joe Montana, but there was no Dwight Clark in the end zone, so they're going to have to kick a field goal. Eddie Pinedo, 4 out of 5 on the year to try to put the Gators on the board. 25-yard attempt, and the kick is up, and it's perfect. The home team has points with 4:01 remaining in quarter number 2.
Not quite fireworks, but sparklers.
Well, at least they scored for the 366th straight time. Back at the Swamp, where the Gators went 69 yards in 11 plays. Geico halftime report. Adam and the guys coming up in 4 minutes. 69-yard drive, 11 plays, a little over 5 minutes, but they had to settle for the field goal, the Gators.
But it was a good sign for Florida's offense. Things went so smoothly. Felipe Franks was in control. It looked like, you know, a guy who's been in the game and used to running the offense.
And even on that last play, instead of throwing into coverage in the end zone,
he might have been able to squeeze one into Brandon Powell, but it would have been a risky throw. Tell you, just things that go unnoticed in a football game. Watch Christian Lacouture, the senior, number 18, at the end of this play. Whoa, let me get that circle right on right there. He holds off, does not take a silly penalty when the quarterback's in the out-of-bounds play right there, and Christian Lacouture says, I've learned my lesson, probably. He's probably had a couple of those when he went too hard. That time it was good just to say, hands up. You know, I'm not going to hit him, and we're not going to get a penalty in that situation.
Lacouture wearing that number 18, made famous by Matt Mott back in 2003 when the Tigers won their first title since '58. And there's actually 2 18s. There's the other one. 2 18s for the first time ever for the Tigers. The other one being John David Moore. There's a whole bunch of shifting. I'm not going to explain that one. First down.
Movement. Let's see the procedure again.
False start. Offense, 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Sadiq Charles will make it 1st and 15 as we check in with Allie.
Guys, the injuries just continue to pile up for LSU. Offensive lineman Toby Weathersby had heat-related headaches. They were trying to cool him off, but they couldn't enough. They took him back to the locker room. Also, KJ Malone, who we talked about his left knee injury earlier, it's a knee strain, and he's questionable. John Battle also struggling.
All right, Allie, thanks. So as Geis only got about 1.5 yards, so we got Sadiq Charles, who picked up the penalty, and now the right tackle's a true freshman, too.
Well, I mean, think about that. After Allie's report, without Weathersby, who was out last week, that means LSU's playing this football game on the road against an elite defensive line for Florida with three true freshmen.
Yeah.
And the last 2 penalties by 76 and 77, both true freshmen.
2nd down and 14. Fans getting into it right now for their defense. Throw out in the flat to Geis. Made the first man miss. That looked a little bit more like Darius Geis. First down.
Well, I tell you, he is special. And when he gets healthy, it makes this offense from making first downs to potentially making big plays. Nice sidearmer at time coming out by Danny Etling.
I mean, he put the brakes on. It was going in the other direction in a split second. It got 15 yards.
Beautiful.
LSU is down to 1 timeout as we're under the 3-minute mark. Again, the 2 tight ends shift to the left. Gage in motion now. He gets the call. This time they're waiting for him.
I think they've been coached up, don't you think?
Yes.
Ja'Kai Polite, number 99, did the same thing that Jordan Sherritt did the time before. I am not going to be influenced. If you don't block me and you run that little squirt coming this way.
I'm not going to be so polite.
Exactly.
Ja'Kai Polite, nice play. He's one of the guys that they say has come the furthest from spring through summer, and now, for the most part, as kind of a co-starter on the defensive front.
Sometimes those big defensive ends go, I like this offense. I get to tackle these guys without getting blocked. That's not bad.
Here's Geis. Good game, but it's bringing third down as Nick Washington made the stop. Biggest third down coming up for both teams at this point. 3rd and 6 right at the 40. So far, LSU's done a pretty good job. 3 out of 5 on their third down conversions. Geis with Etling in the backfield. Moreau, the tight end, motions. Etling throws over the middle to Maroney, breaks free. First down, holding on to the ball with both hands all the way down to the 39-yard line.
Well, that's the second time Matt Canada in 3rd and medium anticipated a blitz. He gets it again this way, calls the perfect play. Remember last time it was a quarterback run. This time tight end delay. Matt Canada is calling, and it's like he's in the head of Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator. He's calling the right plays at the right time.
Watch Foster Moreau put both hands around that football. He had a career-high 41 yards receiving and a couple of touchdowns last week. He got 21 right there and a big first down. Bad news for the secondary of Florida. That's Nick Washington, their captain, senior safety, who's down.
And let's just remember this. This Florida team is playing without 12 scholarship well, actually 50, and a couple of those guys were young and hurt early, but 12 key players that are out, including both wide receivers, Cleveland and Callaway, that they counted upon, Marcel Harris, their safety, and potentially now if Nick Washington is hurt here, that is a big problem for this Florida football team.
That might have 3 freshmen, true freshmen, in the secondary if Nick can't come back.
Yeah, you're the only one back there. When they call the tight end screen, the big linemen are in front of you, and you're a safety. You have to take it on.
And they say everybody looks to this guy in the secondary because of that youth we were talking about. So they're going to miss that, at least for this play. And Sean Davis is in there.
Come back in. We'll have to say a very interesting in practice. Randy Shannon was playing a lot of young players with the number 1s. And I actually asked, you've got some injuries? He says, no, I want him to practice with the first group so they don't feel nervous during the game.
First down at the 39. Under a minute to go and a half. LSU with the lead and looking for more. Etling going deep. And a little tangled up there.
Well, this will be interesting. And who gets it here?
It's Chark and Henderson that got tied up together.
C.J. Henderson was in perfect position. And Chark might have had as much jostling as Henderson.
Pass interference. Defense.
Whoa.
Number 5. That's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Now, the Florida fans have been watching bump and run coverage here at Florida for 10 years. Well, see how he veered into him? I think that's a good call. His last, the way he angled in, and CJ initiated the contact.
He sort of boxed out looking for the rebound.
Yes, when he angled in, you're going to get called. I think that's a good call that time.
First down LSU at the Florida 24. Geis empties the backfield. And Etling looking to throw to the left side and almost jumped the route. And that would have been a Duke Dawson touchdown if he could have held it.
One of the things that Matt Canada said is if our quarterback double hitches, a lot of bad things happen. See how he double hitched right there? That's when he gets worried. Okay, that's a 6, maybe an inch away from a pick 6. He said we get worried when Danny hitches in the pocket. When he throws on timing, he's fine. But he doubled, almost triple hitch there, and that was dangerous.
Down to 39 seconds. Gage in motion, and now backs into the slot.
They moved again, didn't they?
Here's Etling. He's going to keep it. Gets out at the 21. I don't see a flag.
It should have been. Shadrick Charles puckers again. The left tackle. 80,000 people saw it, but 8 officials didn't.
There it is.
There it is. Now remember, LSU gets the ball to start the second half. They can afford to be conservative here.
Their field goal kickers are a little iffy.
Well, that's the most dangerous part, the field goal.
3rd down and 7. Williams in the backfield with Etling. And this will stop play again, I guess.
Timeout, Florida.
And they're down to 1 timeout. We'll take a timeout too. 34 seconds till halftime. So Florida took a timeout to get their defense aligned.
I really, Brad, think that this really helps LSU. They can talk to the quarterback now, Danny Etling, and say, Danny, can't have a sack. We've got field goal range right now. Whatever Matt Canada calls, it has to be either a first down or we got to have the ball right where it is at the 21-yard line.
Let's see what they came up with during the timeout. 3rd down and 7.
You got to remind your offensive line also, no penalties.
And we have another timeout.
LSU, that's their final timeout of the half.
You have to be careful after a timeout because you don't get a 40-second clock. You only get a 25-second clock, and it happens very many times. You walk out there and you're used to 40 seconds, and you only get 25.
So they're out of timeouts. And that's something to keep in mind if they bring out the field goal unit. It's not like you got all day.
Well, right now, they should be getting that field goal team ready right now. As you can see, they're down by 5 seconds and they're still in the huddle. And this timeout was called on the bench by LSU.
So there's a senior quarterback not being quite aware enough, as Gary said, of what time you had remaining. So we're eventually going to get this 3rd and 7 played at the 21-yard line.
And remember, when they call them out, it's set it for play. Watch, the referee puts it in play, and it starts 25 seconds. Matt Loeffler signals it, and when you run out there, you're down to 20, which is unusual.
And you're huddling again.
Yes. I'm surprised. Well,
I don't know why they had to huddle again.
They want to hide the formation of where they're going to put their tight end.
Down to 6 on the play clock. Chark in motion. The snap at 2. Etling throws, almost intercepted by Dawson again.
Man, Danny Etling. That ball should have gone right to Williams right away. The running back. Watch Williams. That's an easy pitch, maybe a first down. They're waiting for a screen over the middle, and it takes forever for Etling to find the screener. He almost threw it. That ball has to be thrown between the hashes.
And so that brings out the field goal unit. Connor Culp is 1 out of 2 this year. 45 is his longest. This will be from 38 yards. And it's perfect. No problem for him. And that tacks on 3 more. And it puts the LSU lead back to a touchdown. 10-3 Tigers. Next Saturday, don't miss a primetime doubleheader on CBS Sports Network, starting with 25th ranked UCF hosting ECU, followed by Big Mountain West matchup. Number 19 San Diego State Aztecs keep rolling. They welcome Boise State, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Danny Etling's talking upstairs, and somebody's telling Danny, don't throw it to Duke Dawson, throw it to one of our guys.
He had 2 nightmare throws right there, didn't he?
Man.
Well, all's well that ends well. They used all their timeouts, and they got 3 points.
And they only left Florida 25 seconds to work with. Cameron Gamble, the kickoff man.
Oh, no.
And he kicked it out of bounds.
There's
a gift.
Yeah, that puts it in play. That puts field goal in play for Florida.
Kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
I mean, if you do your job, that ball's going to be at the 20 and 25-yard line if you're the kicker. Now the ball goes to the 35-yard line, and what do they need? About 30 yards for a 28 yards for a 55-yard field goal, and that can be done.
And Pineda's got a good leg.
Yes.
Had a couple of them of long range, including this one that was a YouTube sensation.
Yeah.
This is 81 yards. Apparently.
Well, just kick it now then, if you can do that.
Get it over with.
Right. On YouTube, he can kick. I'll tell you that.
His career log's 54, so they don't have to get too much for him. And we know the arm strength of Felipe Franks if they need to put one up deep. They're going to blitz him right here. And they're going to get to him. Dropped him back at the 31-yard line. That's the one thing they didn't want to do.
Yeah, but one of the things that Arden Key has been facing is a lot of chip blocks. And this one, he didn't have one. And he's actually the one that forced Felipe Franks up in the pocket. He goes around the corner, and that forces the sack inside.
And now the Florida fans are going to boo because they're not using their last time out, and they let the clock wind down not to make any more mistakes before halftime. So they trail at the break to LSU. Tigers, who were coming off the disaster at home last week, looking pretty darn good here on the road at the Swamp. So a lead on the road is something Ed Orgeron will take for sure, and he's with Allie.
Coach, you challenged this team's toughness this week. What's your evaluation of how they've responded so far?
Good job. We've still got to continue drives. We can't let them make big plays. This is a powerful football team, and our guys are ready to play.
The injuries are piling up on offense, specifically the offensive line. How do you compensate for those?
It don't matter. Next man step up. We're Tigers.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Tigers.
Well, they are 3-0 and they lead this year so far, and this is the first time that Florida has trailed at halftime this year. Down 10-3 here at the break at the Swamp as we head to Zook and the guys in New York.
All right, Brad, a whole new LSU coming up here on the Geico Halftime Report. Rick, BJ, and I will show you how the nation's longest winning streak came to a shocking end in Norman after this word from your local station.
One foot in front of the other. Hitting towards the sideline. 10-5. Touchdown, Tigers.
So we just about set to start the third quarter. LSU on the road leading 10-3. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson, Allie LaForce down on the field. We'll talk to Allie in a second. All right, you want modern football? It's 10-3. How many passes have we completed in this game?
Right. One side's thrown 10, the other side's thrown 8, and LSU fans might have thought Danny Etling might have thrown too many. Here's, I think, the point. This might not be vintage Florida or vintage LSU defense when they won national championship. But it's still good enough to beat a one-dimensional football team. And if the two quarterbacks don't get a little bit more involved and start spreading the field out a little bit more, it might be one of these 17-14 games, that is the end of the way the game goes.
The biggest plays really have come from LSU on those jet sweeps.
Right. And lately that hasn't been there.
Nope. Eddie Pinedo to get us underway in the second half. And that won't be returned, so we'll bring it out to the 25, and we take it down to Allie LaForce. Allie.
Hey, Ness. Hey, Gary. I talked to Coach Mack. He is just dying for a sense of urgency from this team. He told me we have to get up and go. We can't wait around offensively. He wants to see them play a little bit more up-tempo and have that passion. He also told us that Nick Washington is out for the game with a shoulder injury, and we do have an update on Patrick Stevens, who we saw carted off in the first half. He's out for the game. He got an x-ray done. His whole leg is immobilized, and his family's with him in the locker room right now.
Oh, that's tough. Thanks, Allie. I wish Stevens a healthy return. Looks like it's going to be a while, though. So we open the third quarter with LSU at its own 25-yard line. There he is, Geis. The single setback. He'll get the stretch call on the right side. And Darius, good gain at about 7. He showed flashes of the Darius Geis that we know and love at times in the first half.
Yeah, just a bit. When he's on the open field, he can make guys still miss, but he doesn't plant that foot and go like you're used to seeing him, a year ago.
A year ago, he had almost 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns for the Tigers. Got 6 on that play, second down and 4. They'll try him again, and this time puts his head down and powers his way for 5 and a first down.
Well, the trends of the game is just about, if you watch the first half, you know it. It's been place selection for both teams. One note, Florida's only run 25 plays in the first half of this game. They did score to keep the streak alive, but I think this is an interesting stat right here. The running backs have not been providing the punch. It's been the jet sweeps, as Brad talked about.
From the 36, play action, Etling loads and goes deep. And he's got Chark out there, but he's also got a Florida defender out there who's got the ball.
Simultaneous.
Chark tangled up with Duke Dawson as they've been most of the day. And it is
simultaneous.
LSU.
Yes. Simultaneous will go to the offense. And I think Chark got in there late. I think Duke Dawson had it for a second. And then he pulled it away, is what I think. Watch Dawson.
Rolling on the field, it was joint possession. First down, LSU.
And I think that's the right call. They both have the football. 4 hands on the football.
And a quick snap by LSU, and Geis now spinning his way down to the 10-yard line. That was a 47-yard pickup, by the way.
Right. How smart was that for LSU to get that play snapped and not allow John Bible to get more views? The replay official gets one view, they call it joint, and no more chances. They snapped the ball and got it going.
So it's the old tie goes to the runner, only in football terminology, and it's got LSU knocking on the door here early in the third quarter at the 11-yard line. Straight ahead, Geis. This time they stop him after a yard gain.
You know, the question is, Florida lost. At halftime, Allie told you about that Nick Washington would not be back. Why isn't C.J. Henderson out there, though, at the cornerback spot? You know, that usually C.J. gets a lot more snaps. They're going with Duke Dawson as that, and C.J. Henderson comes on in the nickel situation right here.
There he is with the Band-Aid on his cheek from the shot he took in the first half. Verizon red zone on the year, 20 trips, 13 touchdowns. They've got a touchdown lead, and they're just shaded inside the 10-yard line. Etling going to keep it all the way. He paid the price, but he got the first down.
He sure did. And he, fortunately for an LSU, held on to the ball because he took a big-time shot that time from Chauncey Gardner. Option play, you got it now, hold on. And whoa.
He took one right in the face mask.
Did, but it might have been worth it. You know, Danny Etling's been waiting a long time to play a quarterback for a good football team, and he's willing to take that shot.
And that wasn't a situation where he could slide because he knew he had to get every inch of that.
Yep.
In fact, we're going to measure it. And it's first and goal.
And LSU went into that play 4 for 7 on third down, and now they're 5 for 8. That is a big stat in this game.
Especially when they came in 36% on the season.
Yes, and Florida is 1 for 5 in the game on third down.
So, boy, the Florida defense really needs to come up with some plays here, or they're going to find themselves trailing 17-3.
Well, we've seen something similar like this against Tennessee, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Geis puts his head down, takes David Reese with him to about the 2-yard line, maybe the 3.
Well, remember the last year when Florida had the goal line stand.
And Geis went the wrong way.
Yeah, it was Darius Geis that was in the game. And this was a game that, you know, got Florida into the SEC championship. Remember this? 4th and goal. He had it outside. It's a toss to the left, and Darius Geis gets confused and goes to the right.
Let's see which way he goes here. To the left, to the 1. 3rd and goal. I think that was his spot to pick as he chooses on that one.
Yes, that where you go. Well, once you get the ball, you can run anywhere you want. The question is for LSU and Ed Orgeron, are you thinking 4 downs? Will you continue to run the ball even if you don't make it here?
3rd and goal. Stephon Sullivan, the motion man, both directions.
Well, he's got
Here's
two
a lob
guys.
wide open. and it's a touchdown to Torrey Carter.
He had both of them open on that one. He could have chosen 44 or 18. All of the shift in the motion definitely confused the Florida secondary. A lot of motion, and then two guys out for the touchdown. Look at that. Take it, and wide open for the touchdown. Great call, great play-action pass.
Connor Culp, the point after is good. And we're just 4 minutes into the second half. And LSU looking strong right now, up by 2 touchdowns. First it was the long ball. Chark battling Dawson 7-on-7, but the 7 with the white jersey got it. And that led to this. Danny Etling, wide open tight end Carter, 17-3 Tigers. This week, Colbert's all new with Andrew Garfield, Bill Murray, and Conan O'Brien. Plus Monday, catch Jackie Chan and Bob Schieffer. All new Colbert this week. Jackie Chan, new movie coming out. Is he still doing all his own stunts? He's older than we are.
Yeah.
Pretty strong. Yeah, there's a happy H-back tight end with a touchdown catch. It capped off a 75-yard drive in 9 plays. Took a little over 4 minutes to give LSU a 2-touchdown lead. And now we really do have to see the Gators show more intensity, as Ali said, on offense that their coach wanted from them.
A straight one kick.
It's always good,
yes.
But no return. And we'll bring it out to the 25. Take a look at the top 10 this week. Alabama's coming up tonight. Clemson a winner at home in Death Valley. Oklahoma the upset. And so Northwestern and Georgia, I guess the question will be who jumps to number 3. One of those 2 teams will.
Yeah.
And it leads us to our Aflac trivia question.
Aflac!
And it is, who was the last team to be ranked number 1 in the polls other than Alabama and Clemson during the regular season? Seems like those 2 have been there forever. Give you an answer a little bit later. Oklahoma had their 14-game winning streak snapped today with that loss to Iowa State.
Who would have thunk that one, huh?
Boy.
All those people that watch tape and figure out a way to who can not lose a game were wrong.
And especially when they're considered, what, 30-some point favorites or whatever.
Exactly. You know, as Ali was, or you were referring to Ali's talk up to Jim McElwain about got to get it going, whatever. Felipe Franks hasn't been in this situation. You know, against Michigan when they were down, they brought in Malik Zaire.
Yep.
Against Kentucky, Luke Del Rio came into the game. This is something new for Felipe Franks.
Let's see how he does with it. 2nd down and 7. Play action bootleg. There's a good throw and catch.
What a great route.
Freddie Swain, we talked about Freddie earlier. He's taking over for Tyree Cleveland, who's out with an injury today.
What you got to do is cross the defender's face. He gets stuck inside, but watch him get out in front of him. He's blocked, and then get in front of him. That time, John Battle could not make the coverage, and a good job, good pitch and catch.
Freddie had the winning touchdown catch a couple of weeks ago against Kentucky. Got a 1st down there at the 40.
He didn't have to run quite as good a route in that game.
No, he didn't. A little bit wide open. Here's a quick slant going the other way, and that's Josh Hammond. And of course, the Gators have been looking for a quarterback, I wanted to say since Tim Tebow, but actually since Will Greer. And then they went through sort of a litany of guys. Treon Harris, Luke Del Rio got hurt last week. Appleby, Franks, Malik Zaire, as Gary talked about it. And then you look at it, Florida fans don't like looking at that. Will Greer's doing okay right now for West Virginia. Well, this guy's doing okay on this drive so far. Now they go back to the ground to P. Ryan, and P. Ryan broke a tackle into the secondary, and LaMichael's still on his feet, run out of bounds. Big 1st down for Florida at the 31-yard line.
Deion White took a bad angle on this one and really hurt the defense. He got blocked and logged in. Watch Deion White right here. He has to turn that ball in, and he ends up getting hooked.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 49. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Arden Key got the last hit just at the end. 48 had him standing. Key, a little bit too much of a shove, too wide, and there goes 15 more, and Florida in the red zone.
Remember when I said Christian Locature's play was a good play?
Yeah.
That's exactly what could have happened to Locature. You got to be really careful on the sidelines. The officials are looking right at it, and they're going to throw it every time.
So 23 and 15. 23 on the run, 15 on the penalty. First down, Gators trying to answer back to the LSU touchdown here in the third quarter. Franks scrambles to his right. He's going to run it. Got a blocker in front and cuts inside, and he's got it first and goal. And that time Goolsby got a block downfield.
Tell you, he's got a lot of natural talent, does Felipe Franks. Big arm, great height, not bad wheels, and good smarts not to take the hit. Goolsby gets a good block to keep him from getting hit, but smartly he dives out of bounds.
So it's first and goal for the Gators just inside the LSU 4. Pirine behind Franks. Everybody shifts to the right side. And they go the other way. Down around the 2. Last time Florida scored a touchdown down on this end was the last play of the Tennessee game.
R.J. Raymond, number 45, comes in at the wingback that time, and C.C. Jefferson, number 96, is playing left tight end.
So they've got some beef in there. Second and goal. Pirine, both hands around the ball and into the end zone. Touchdown, Florida.
Run right at Jawan Taylor, number 65. A big tackle right here. He just, well, actually they get a triple team on the play, and then Pirine runs right through the tackle and gets into the end zone.
Good looking scoring drive, so the Gators do answer the LSU touchdown. Pinedo's extra point is good. And we're down to a touchdown lead for LSU.
Well, it was the 23-yard run by Pirine and the 15-yard penalty at the end of it. Good blocking by Ciante Lewis on the edge. Pirine gets as much as he can, but the 15 yards were huge.
He had 3 scoring runs a week ago. He just tacked on a big one right there to make it 17-10. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper, Napa, Sonic, and by State Farm. Homecoming parade yesterday. We got a chance to check part of that out from our CBS iCruiser. Coming up later in the game, the play of the game, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Reason to chomp right now after a good-looking drive, 75 yards, 7 plays, a little over 3 minutes. They get LaMichael Pirine 2 yards into the end zone for the touchdown, and the lead's been cut to a score. Pinedo set to kick. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, one of the deep guys, and they won't touch this one. Bring it out to the 25. Now confident on the field and in the classroom. Here's today's Scholar Athletes, presented by Quicken Loans. John David Moore, one of those 2 18s on the team that I told you about, and Brett Heggie for the Florida Gators. Quicken Loans' commitment to the investment of our future, shown today by donating $1,000 to LSU and Florida's General Scholarship Fund. Congratulations, those 2 young guys. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Allie LaForce, and our CBS crew, the Swamp. At the 25-yard line midway, third quarter. And now we got a little more action going on here. Darrell Williams behind Danny Etling. Gage, the motion man, both directions 3 times, and they give it to him the 3rd time. A stiff arm, spins his way out around the 29-yard line.
I would really be curious on how you call that motion in the huddle. Zing-zang, back and forth on 3.
Zing-zang, zingy.
Yes.
On the third one, it's
a
zingy.
Zing, a zang.
And here comes the zingy.
And a zingy handoff.
There it is.
It takes like an extra hour of practice to get that thing down.
And it took about 10 seconds to run it, too. And he got 5 yards, though.
You can only run that play at first down after a timeout.
Right.
You don't have enough time to call it.
2nd down and 5. This time they fake it to him, and Etling keeps it. And he only got a couple.
Boy, you can really feel how important of a football game this is for LSU. They are willing to run their quarterback, even though they know they've got a true freshman, Miles Brennan, behind him, who Ed Orgeron told us last night is not ready to play on this type of a game.
3rd down. There he is, Brennan, the freshman. You can tell he's young just by looking at him.
Yes, he wears the flat brim, too, right?
Yeah.
That's how you know.
We don't usually do that. You and I am talking about.
All right, here we go.
Well, they've been great on 3rd down. How good are they going to be on 3rd and 4? Trips to the right side. They bring D. Anderson back down to the bottom. Etling flushed from the pocket. Running out of real estate. Well,
great effort.
He went for it, lost his helmet in the process.
You know, none of the receivers for LSU gave him an open target. They just kept standing there.
Well, he sold out as much as he could. I don't know if he got the 1st down, but
I think his knee is going to be down short of this. Was his knee down? Not yet. Yes, it is. Now you got to challenge the spot. Do you look at the spot? When was his knee down?
Wow.
That's pretty close, isn't it?
And if he got the 1st down, we're going to see the freshman quarterback because his helmet came off. They gave him the 1st down.
Now remember, we know this is going to be challenged. Right. John Bible's going to take a look at this. It again was a touchback.
Was the first down. The previous play is under further review.
We really don't need a yellow line here because we know the ball was spotted on the 25. So the replay official knows it's the line, not the yellow line. His knee's down. I think the ball is short of it when his knee is down.
Talk about a quarterback making every effort to get there. Took a shot there, and then a second one. And
stop it when his knee's down right there. Okay, that ball is short of the 35-yard line. I think they're going to bring it back.
And they tried to get Brennan in there to snap it in a hurry.
Of course, it'd be 4th down, and you can't risk going for it here.
No. So we'll wait on the official call.
Unless you're owner coach, unless you're like Paul Brown back in the day when you own the team, do anything you want.
After review, the ball was short of the line to gain. Therefore, it will be 4th at the 34.5-yard line. 4.5 yards.
Second time it's been a half-yard difference.
Again, remember, without the ball being kicked out of the end zone and the replay official knowing exactly he has to get to the 35-yard line, he's able to use the yard line as the goal line, and it's an easier overturn.
So instead of a 1st down, it's a punt upcoming, and that means Brandon Powell drops back for Florida at his own 25. Zach Von Rosenberg to punt. Powell camps under this one at the 25 and goes down immediately. Boy, nice job. Was that Chark down there? It was. Gage, rather. Russell Gage, nice job on the special teams. So Florida has it back. They trail by a touchdown. Well, Florida's got it back. Let's see if they can do what they did last drive.
And you know what? It was not fancy. Fundamental football. Out pass to Freddie Swain. Quick slant to Josh Hanman. Counter play to your tailback. Do a good job with fundamental blocking. Make a positive play. Get a little value of the 15-yard penalty. And then stuff it into the end zone. That's a good, solid, fundamental drive. Great news for Florida Gator fans. If you like the way to... They've been waiting for good offense. That's good offense. You don't need to trick them. Run good routes. Make good throws.
5:44 remaining 3rd quarter. Trailing by a touchdown. They'll set up with Malik Davis behind Felipe. He's going to get the carry. And he's going to get positive yardage. He's got a first down. Let's check in with Allie.
Hey guys, I've been watching Felipe Franks on the sidelines. He really does have a calm and a confidence about him. You know, Coach Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, told us he's a quiet guy, and one of the things they've been working on is communication. But Freddie Swain told us this week in meetings that Felipe brings the energy, and he's a great community only if he gets his confidence and gets the flow of the game going. After that touchdown, you could really see that confidence.
He's going to be out of this play because Tony is in. Kadarius Toney will take the snap. And it's a run all the way to the right. Trying to get to the edge, he did. And I think he's out of bounds.
I thought he stepped out too.
Let's see where they spot this.
The back official said he did not. I thought for sure he did. You know, Kadarius Toney used to be a secret weapon. He's no longer secret, but he's still a weapon.
He's out right there.
Oh, yeah, he is out.
And I said first down. I don't think he got the first down either, much less the rest of it.
I think it was about an 8-yard play is what it was. That's going to come back.
And he was shaken up, trying to tightrope that sideline. Remember, he went out earlier when he kind of got rolled up on.
Oh, I'm surprised this is not being stopped by the replay official and at least looked at it. Holy cow.
Whoa, okay. Here's Davis.
Now remember, every play is being reviewed. So the replay official felt like he was not out of bounds. His right foot seems to be on the line to me.
His left foot was out of bounds too after the next drive.
Yes, both of them on his own 44. I am shocked on that one, I have to say.
So the Florida drive has worked to the LSU 40. Josh Hammond in motion. Felipe Franks fires. That one's tipped en route. That's why there's not going to be a penalty. That ball was tipped by somebody.
Yes, the flag is thrown, but now the officials will huddle and call it a tip flag.
Dante Jackson got a hand in it, I think, unless I'm crazy and the ball trajectory
Pass
didn't
interference
change.
on the defense. Number 2. Clock foul, automatic first down.
All right. Well, I'm 0 for 2 on this drive.
Well, we don't have a closer look yet whether he tipped it. It is a reviewable, and I thought he tipped it. The ball went end over end. This is a reviewable play, by the way. Most penalties are not reviewable, but this one is.
Well, you can't go from a perfect spiral to a knuckleball without.
Right. Not even our good friend and Allie's husband, Joe Smith, can throw one like that.
Well, finally the whistle to stop this play, although he did throw some good ones last night.
Further review.
So Allie's husband came in, in the bottom of the 8th inning or top of the 9th inning and faced the judge with the winning run on base and got him out, and Allie's still breathing hard down there.
Yep.
Remember, usually you cannot overturn a penalty. It's not reviewable, but you can overturn it if it's been tipped.
Well, this one's coming back. They can't take away the run by Tony, but they're going to bring this thing back.
We're almost sure on this.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I'm staying out of it.
Right. I don't know what else more we need to see.
There's a spiral that becomes an end-over-end ball. He almost caught it, to be honest with you.
They're just now figuring out where the ball was and where to bring it back. And this should not take this long. I met with Steve Shaw in the offseason, and one of his things he wanted to most emphasize was when we know what's going to happen, get it going, get it back there, know where the ball was the play before, and get moving.
That would be one of those procedural communications that we talked about earlier. Here's Al.
Guys, Kadarius Toney was in a lot of pain when he came off the sidelines. He was trying to sort of shush away the athletic trainers. They were trying to help him, and he said, no, I can tough this out. But he was almost shaking. His right shoulder was hurting. He was trying to rotate his rotator cuff on his right shoulder. The training staff tried to get in there, but he said, I'm good. I just need a few seconds to myself and let me back in there. So watch out for that right shoulder.
Allie, was he shaking as bad as you were last night?
No, and I still haven't stopped. I haven't quite come down from that yet. Hopefully by game 3 I will.
The ball was tipped. Therefore, there is no pass interference. It'll be 3rd down.
All right, so we got that straightened away.
See, this is another thing that has to happen. The chains need to be, this down. We got to move the chains. This is what slows the game down. I think procedurally, that's something that all of college football needs to look at. Yes, we want to review all the plays, but we got to make this stuff happen faster.
When they get everything reset, and they just about have it now, it's 3rd down and 7. Freddie Swain and Josh Hammond trot out to the left.
Yeah, and as you can see, 1 for 5 on 3rd down. Can LSU get a stop again?
Mark Thompson in there, a tailback for blitz pickup.
Oh, that might be interference.
Right.
Yep, that could
there
be.
It comes.
Pretty sure this one's not tipped, too.
Well, Dante tipped the last one. He tipped the receiver this time.
That was pretty easy call again, wasn't it? I mean, Dante Jackson is fast. 10-2-2.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. Spot foul, automatic, 1st down.
Jeez.
Makes a great play and then not so great.
Yep.
So Florida 1st down by penalty.
Listen, it's not easy playing defensive back and handling those slant passes. It takes a gifted athlete, and then to have the patience and all the inner fortitude not to make that dumb penalty like that.
Kadarius Toney got his wish. He's back in there. Gives it off to Malik Davis.
Well, it could be a horse collar. It does not have to be inside the shoulder pads.
Can be right on the nameplate.
Correct.
He got the right shoulder pad, the left shoulder pad.
Yeah, he was outside the frame of the body. You're going to get away with that. That's a good tackle. That's a good no call.
8-yard pickup, though. 2nd down and 2.
Boy, has the Wildcat worked well for Florida here today, keeping this LSU team off balance.
Now it's back to straight ahead with Davis. Malik Davis got the corner. Davis inside the 10, still going down to the 5. It's 1st and goal, Florida.
Well, they run 3 running backs. They keep them all fresh. Davis, Pirine, and Thompson. And you can see the skill that Malik Davis brings to this team, especially when he's fresh late in the football game. He had 21 rush attempts against Kentucky.
He had 17 more last week for a $124. He got a 21-yard run there to the 5. 1st and goal. They'll try him again, right in the middle of the pile. And powering his way down inside the 2, I think. Grant Delpit, safety, made the stop.
And he's a wisp of a player. I mean, when you say powering against this LSU front, very impressive for a first-year freshman football player.
He's not even 200 pounds, but he runs pretty strong. Got a man down, Rashard Lawrence.
Ooh, and they cannot afford to hurt him. He's been both ankles this year, and it looks like his right ankle is again.
Didn't play last week. They finally got him back, and now that's what he's holding, it appears, right now.
Watch Rashard Davis. I've got him highlighted for you. His ankle's planted in the ground. Let's see if it's right or his left ankle. He's going to push right here. Watch him push. All of his leverage is in there to try to hold it up. And then he reaches back, and you can see him reach for his ankle right on the end as the pile falls on him.
Rashard Lawrence, you might have said Davis.
I did, Rashard Lawrence, my fault.
And Davis is the guy that got Florida down this far. 5 carries, 45 yards, including a 21-yarder.
And he's one of the most important football players on this defensive line for LSU is Lawrence.
Let's see if Davis gets it again. 2nd and goal. He will. Did he get there?
I don't know.
Not quite. His head almost got there, but the football didn't get there.
I don't think he quite got there. I think he's just short. Eric Monroe, number 30's in the hole.
Massive humanity there, and At the 1 yard
line.
line.
I actually think Devon White, number 40, is the guy that made the play. He was being blocked and just kind of threw his back into it. This will be a quarterback.
Yeah, they're going to give it off easy. Walk in for Pirine, his second of the day.
That play was well coached. A quick snap, no delay, caught him flat-footed. A quick snap. LSU is maybe thinking a shift, but before they could get ready, they snapped the ball. Really good coaching here by Florida. They had a plan. They came out. You think maybe quarterback sneak? Nope. Off tackle for the touchdown.
Good blocking, just a 1 yard run, but an important 1 yard. An important extra point is no good.
Oh, no.
The snap and the hold were both a little bit off. This one's not going to be Pinedo's fault, I don't think.
Yeah, Townsend right away turns around and says that wasn't clean. It's always something, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, the ball was still spinning when he tried to kick it.
Snap wasn't terrible, but it was still spinning, as Gary said.
It looked like it came off his finger as he was spinning the ball.
Sometimes you worry too much about where the laces are. We got a ball game, though. Pirine from a yard out, 17-16. Well, some of the basics don't go your way sometimes. Extra point missed after that touchdown. And we'll show you why in a second. After the kick.
We talked about the snap, but the more I looked at the snap, I think it's acceptable. You know, if you can catch it and stayed in the air, I think Johnny Townsend, when he spun the ball, it came off his finger and fell forward. Watch this. Decent snap. That's good enough. Not perfect, but good enough. But watch when it's spun, it falls forward before it can be kicked.
Thus the difference in our game so far, 17-16. A little bit earlier, we asked you our Aflac trivia question. Been a long time since somebody other than Bama and Clemson were ranked number 1 during the regular season. It was Ohio State 2 years ago. Ohio State looked good today. Oklahoma not so much. Here's the sweep again, and this is Chark, and he's got open field. Oh, he got taken out of the open field by Chauncey Gardner.
One of the things that Randy Shannon talked to us of a worry about Chauncey Gardner is he felt he was missing tackles late in games because he was tired. He said he's a good tackler, but when he gets fatigued, he misses tackles. Well, with the injury now in the secondary to Nick Washington, he can't afford to rest him anymore. Let's see if he can keep doing that in the second half.
Chark did get 10 yards, though, on a first down at the 35, and he's the motion man. Play action. Etling throws it out to the tight end, Moreau. And we get an update. Adam Zucker in New York.
All right, Ness, you mentioned Oklahoma's loss to Iowa State. That left TCU, the only undefeated team in the Big 12, tied at 17 with West Virginia when Kenny Hill Jr., the quarterback, on the receiving end from Cavante Turpin, a 24-17 lead. Former Gator Will Greer, 2 touchdown passes for the Mountaineers. Back to you.
Tying it all together, Zuck, that boy. Good game. Good game here, too. LSU by 1 with the ball, 2nd and 5. Dice broke 1 tackle. Goes for about 3. Gary Clark made the stop. LSU, this is their 3rd possession of this half. They got a touchdown in the first 4 minutes of the half, then a 3 and out. And now here they are with a 3rd and 3. And 3rd and 3 or less, they've been perfect today.
Well, remember last time it was Danny Etling running the ball. They also used him on a quarterback run from shotgun. They're going to let the quarter end.
End of 3. LSU on the road, a 1-point lead. We'll return to Gainesville after this message and a word from your local station. In between the 3rd and 4th quarter, A tribute to Gainesville native Tom Petty, who passed away earlier this week at the age of 66. One of his famous songs. The head of the Heartbreakers left a lot of people heartbroken this week, passing away way too soon. Who's going to back down in the fourth quarter? But ready to find out.
That was a great tribute. I got to say, the crowd, the fans really came through there.
Third down at 3 to start the fourth. Etling spinning his way. Did he get there? I don't think so.
I don't either. Great tackle, I think, by David Reese that time. Could have been a penalty. Was Taven Bryan, number 93, lined up off sides? Or he
offside
went into the neutral zone?
Defense,
yes.
Number 93.
Oh, boy.
5-yard penalty. First
he
down.
was.
Automatic first down.
He jumped into the neutral zone right at the snap.
Wow, they had him stopped.
And he's looking right at the ball then. Okay.
There it was.
Oh, yes.
Well, he comes out. LSU's offense continues on at the 47. Nursing a 1-point lead in the opening stages of the fourth quarter. Darius Geis, he almost lost the handle, it looked like, on the handoff. Didn't get any gain on the play.
Well, one of the question marks I had was whether these linebackers, these young group of linebackers for Florida, could stand up with all this shift in motion. I thought they started off a little shaky.
Yeah.
But now Reese, Joseph especially, have got the feel for this game. And they keep bringing in Kylan Johnson, number 28, in their nickel package. He comes in fresh. He's missed the last couple games, but he is healthy now and back in the game.
Second down and 10. They fake it to Chark. Etling's going to throw right back to him, and he threw it right through his hands. Gage, beg your pardon. Russell Gage, not Chark.
Florida got away with one here, Brad. They got a little confused. Watch the motion go, and both of the defenders stay. They're outnumbered to the top. They've got a winning play, but they can't make the toss. KJ Malone, by the way, is back in at left tackle. That keeps one of the true freshmen off the field.
Third down and 10. Etling's got to make a throw here to keep it alive. Or will he do it with his legs?
Too far. Too much in a hurry. Didn't read that one out enough. It's one of the things that the Florida staff thought they could do was flush Etling out on third down. That's a pretty good pocket. He was not patient enough and wait for an open receiver.
David Reese can close from that middle linebacker spot. He can move.
And as Randy said to us, yeah, he's not Jared Davis,
but who is?
A true sophomore. Right. That guy's playing for the Lions right now, the Detroit Lions.
Josh Groudon to punt. End over end punt that Powell handles at the 15. So Florida did their job. They give it back to their offense. They're deep in their own territory at the 15, but they're only down a point, and we got a long ways to go.
And now it's time for our Geico game recap.
Well, it started off with a parade yesterday. Then we started playing football earlier this afternoon, about 3:30. And it was LSU with those jet sweeps that were so effective and have been throughout the game. Russell Gage taking that one from 30 yards out. And then Etling, who sold out so many times today on the run, just trying to get first downs. Got a big one there. And then the lob to the wide open freshman tight end Carter for the score. In Florida, well, they had Felipe Franks having a few problems, but then second half much better. Michael Pirine twice from short range into the end zone for the Gators. They missed the extra point after that last one, though, and that's where we sit. 17-16 LSU, and Florida's got it back.
And Rashard Lawrence, or I like to call him Rashard Davis every once in a while, is back in the football game. Great news for the Tiger fans. This is getting to be one of those games that we've come to recognize the Florida LSU battles, where it's man-to-man combat now.
For 13 more minutes, barring overtime. P. Ryan, the tailback, in the pistol behind Felipe Franks. He'll get the carry. Got around a couple of guys.
Man, Lawrence got held so bad on that play. I'm shocked he did not get a penalty. Martez Ivy tackled him. It's got to be called. Watch this. He almost tackled him and tore his helmet off. Inside.
Holding.
Then he
on the offense
starts to lose him and tackles him.
Half
and
the distance.
They did make the call, as you can hear. The flag came out real late, but it was a pretty obvious call to me.
Martez Ivy, the guilty party.
And
a couple
Ivy,
of veterans right there.
Yes, he's got a big smile. They've been battling each other. You know, Brad, I've done a lot of football games. So have you, by the way. But one of my most memorable games is that 2007 game, Florida against LSU. That was a man-to-man battle against men in that line of scrimmage. And that's the way this game is going to be won. At the line of scrimmage, who is going to make the plays up front?
First and 18 now behind the sticks after the holding call. Tony and the keeper. And Tony, man, did he get collared. Looking for a flag. Devin White just about took his head off.
Sure did. Devin White gets fooled on the play, but pivots and comes back and ends up making the tackle. Watch him come from the left side of the screen. Incidental to the face mask. I think that's a good no call.
So Tony goes out after that carry that got him good yardage. Got back to a manageable second down. 2nd and 6.
Arden Key's been quiet again. Can he make another play?
And they're inching their way around here. They had to get 12 of those yards back. Now they've got it 3rd down and short. Lockature made the tackle.
Now Florida was down in this game 17-3. They scored 2 touchdowns. In those 2 drives, they threw 3 passes that were completed. And then, of course, that penalty on that one. Seems to me like they have to keep it open to move the ball successfully against this LSU defense.
They've got Brandon Powell over on a wing.
Yeah, and Arden Key keeps shifting around now so he doesn't get the double team.
There goes Powell in motion.
Going to drop here.
3rd and 4. There's time. Crossing route.
That was a mistake.
Freddie Swain, though, gave ground. And
yes, it was. That was a mistake. If he turns and dives forward, you have to know the situation. That's where the quarterback has to remind his receivers in the huddle. Guys, it's 3rd and 3. Give me 4 yards. I don't need 10 yards. I need 4 yards. Swain needed to catch that ball and dive forward before he got tackled. It was really close.
Too close and not enough.
I mean, he could have caught that ball. If he was aware, he could have caught that ball down forward and made that 1st down and keep the ball for the Gators.
He knows it now as he heads to the sideline and the punting unit comes on. Johnny Townsend to kick.
Bombs another one.
Did he ever? Chark way back around the 15. And nowhere to hide. Might have gotten 3 on the return.
Yeah, they're not going to get a punt return because LSU is going defense safes on those short yardage plays. So, Chark, you're on your own.
Thanks a lot for the 5 guys on top of me. Florida still down by 1 and LSU with the ball.
Adam Zucker, New York, with another update on former Gator Will Greer, his 3rd touchdown pass of the game. West Virginia and TCU tied at 24 in Fort Worth.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot, New York Life, Chick-fil-A, and by Bud Light.
Back at the Swamp, Homecoming number 94 for the Gators. They're down a point on a missed extra point. And LSU's got the ball back at its own 19-yard line.
And another change at right tackle for LSU. They keep interchanging all three of the freshmen. Now it's Deckless, number 76, is in the game playing right tackle, lined up like it's another true freshman right next to him at guard, Ingram.
Musical 320-pounders.
And look what happens. And look what happens.
Zuniga.
And look what happens. You got a true freshman going against a veteran SEC defensive lineman, and he gets abused. Right behind number 44 is the true freshman. He sits down too late to get back to the defensive end.
Just what the Gator faithful were hoping for. Force a long yardage situation. Remember, Etling hasn't been all that efficient throwing the football. Second down at 14.
How much leeway do they give him in this situation to throw?
Gage in motion.
Not much.
The stretch play to Williams. He didn't get much either.
Nope.
Now don't forget, coming up after our game, stay tuned for the CBS Sports postgame show powered by Ram. Narrated by Adam, Rick, and BJ. And we got a man down. I think it's Jeremiah Moon, the linebacker. It is.
Well, a position that Florida cannot afford to lose is linebacker. They're shockingly short at linebacker anyway.
Coming up next Saturday, Home Depot, SEC, and CBS will feature one of three matchups. We're going to be somewhere. We're going to be in Baton Rouge or Tuscaloosa, or right back here. Anyway, the day kicks off with college football, the drive to Atlanta, presented by Mercedes-Benz at 2:30 Eastern, followed by State Farm College football today.
Brad, I think this is about the third or fourth time this has happened into this game. People falling, and here's the two combatants right there, Moon and Deculus. Watch how they get tangled up. Austin Deculus falls into the left leg of Jeremiah Moon, and that's at least 4 times that's happened in this game.
So they work on his left ankle.
And now I don't know what LSU's going to call, but I do know Florida and Randy Shannon is going to alert his team to the screen. They got hurt by John Kelly with the screen, and he's looking for a screen pass.
They need 11. Etling.
Screen pass.
There it comes. He throws it right in the dirt. Good call, Gare. 4th down.
You know, when something goes on tape and people see it, John Kelly got about a 40-yard gain on 3rd down on the screen. Everybody else says we're going to do it too. The problem is the other team is practicing, and Florida was practicing the screen. They were ready for it. But you know what? Danny Etling has not earned the confidence of Matt Canada. Those last 2 throws in the first half has spooked his play calling.
Oh, they got close to the punter. Did they hit the punter? Brandon Powell on the other end gets out of the way. There's a flag down at the 10.
Is it 5 or 15? That's a big difference.
On Rosenberg, the left footer.
Yeah, it's 3rd and 11. It's probably going to be a running into the kicker 5-yard penalty.
It was 4th and 11, so we get another look.
Goes across his front leg. Hits it.
He didn't even lay out. He just put his hands in the air.
It was tight end Caleb Jackson, number 87, who gets him. And they're going to call it a 5-yard.
Running into the kicker.
Yep.
Against the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
We'll try that again. And I would wager that number 87 is not going to get that close this time.
Well, I will say this. It was not a great kick, so this is another chance for LSU to get some distance on this thing. Will now Florida go for a return for Brandon Powell.
Yep. See if he can handle one without a fair catch. Has to dive for it just to make the catch. Just under 9 minutes remaining.
Pretty good field position, though.
Florida trails by just 1. They've got the football when we come back. Tomorrow on CBS, when it comes to crime solving, a million minds are better than one. Jeremy Piven and Richard T. Jones star on the new drama Wisdom of the Crowd. It's tomorrow after 60 minutes, only CBS. Just under 9 minutes remaining. Florida down by 1, and in close games, decided by 8 or fewer in the last couple of years. They're right there with Oklahoma State. Right now, Jim McElwain in the swamp is 13-1.
Yeah, you know, he's even better than that. Games decided by 6 points or less. He's 6-0 in the SEC. So it always hasn't been pretty, but he's not losing.
We saw one of the less pretty ones a few weeks ago here. It was a pretty ending, though, thanks to this guy, number 13. Franks going to throw this one away.
Hey, kind of had to. Josh Hammond fell down on the play. I think he was going to be the pride. I think it was Hammond. It might have been Kadarius Toney, but it was Hammond, I think, that was running the route that was going to come out for him. Might have been the same play that he threw the 15-yard route to him early in the first half. This time, he fell down.
Pirine in the tailback spot with him, who's got a couple of touchdowns in this half.
Let's see if they try to get half of it back here with a strong run so they don't have long third down and pass blocking situation for the quarterback.
That's what they're going to do if Pirine can get him something, but he only got about a yard. Nice job, Devin White again.
Well, I'll tell you, Devin White and David Reese, the two basic middle linebackers on this game, have been amazing. They are playing at warp speed, and just the way he covers territory, plants that foot, and makes the tackle. He is all over the field.
Devin White came in as a #1 tackler in the SEC, and we can see why.
Yeah, and he criticized his teammates, too, and said they need to get in the books and learn their assignments. We're making too many mental mistakes.
Third down and 8, empty backfield. Well, just for a second. And now Pirine will join Franks. They fake it to him. He's getting heat, and he's going down. Thompson, Lockature, a bunch of guys there.
What a great story. Corey Thompson, who went out early in the game with that stinger. He's in his 6th year playing for LSU. He's had 5 surgeries, and he's fought his way back, and now he's one of the best pass rushers LSU has. He's the one that came around the corner to make that thing be brought down by Franks. What a play by Corey Thompson.
Missed all of 14 and all of last year with injuries, so he's a 6th-year senior.
6th-year senior, imagine that.
There's a kick.
That's how long all my kids went to school, I think. Well, much as I had to pay for them.
When he started at LSU, half these guys were in 8th grade, you know.
Right. It felt like I had to pay that much, tell you the truth.
You still are, aren't you?
That's true.
They're still on scholarship down there in Florida. 7:22 remaining. Check in with Allie.
Guys, Danny Etling was fired up on this sideline. He went up to every member of the offense, high-fived him, said, let's go. Then he sat in on the offensive line meeting, gave them encouragement, and said, looked every single one of them in the eye and said, you guys get ready to go down this field and score.
Only 9 of 15, but that all-important wide-open tight end for the touchdown has been the difference.
If I'm Ed Orgeron, I don't think 17-16 is going to hold up. They need points.
Etling's going to run it again out to the 30. Such pretty successful runs that we chronicled a little bit earlier. John David Moore goes off, shake it up. The clock works its way under the 7-minute mark.
How about that move by Randy Shannon, playing his young players in practice so they'd be ready? It pays off because late in the game, he has to play Sean Davis, and he was getting plenty of snaps in practice.
Darius Geis, a single setback on 2nd and 3. Gets the call and gets the first down and then keeps on going. Strong run by Darius Geis.
I'm telling you, both these teams right now know it's a war. They know that one good drive could win this football game.
That's a man run right there.
You bet it. That's a man football game going on right here in the trenches. I love LSU Florida football. I have to say, it's been one of the great rivalries I've had in the SEC year after year after year.
And it's produced some great bruises the following morning. Sean Davis, Gary was just talking about him, the freshman safety, is the guy that's down. We'll take a quick break, be right back. Tonight on CBS begins with Wisdom of the Crowd and NCIS New Orleans, followed by a new edition of 48 Hours. Tonight only CBS. And we got 6:23 remaining. From the Swamp on homecoming, Florida trails LSU by 1. And this has become a game of who can hit harder. First down for the Tigers. They just want to chew up some clock.
You never know how that's going to pay off at the end of the game. Right now it looks like you want one drive and bleed the clock. Then all of a sudden it turns and goes, boy, I wish I had those 30 seconds we took before. You never know.
Well, they milk it under 6 minutes before they even break the huddle. Darrell Williams behind Etling in the Tiger backfield. And he'll get it with a big opening off the left side and a pickup of 9.
This is really remarkable for this LSU offensive line. They were called out by the media in Louisiana, by their head coach, talk radio, former players at LSU. They only have 11 scholarship offensive linemen on this team because of transfers, turning pro early, bad recruiting decisions. Usually a team will have 15 or 16 scholarship offensive linemen. That's why in this game they've been using 3 true freshman offensive linemen.
They're growing up little by little. There'll be 5 minutes to go when we run this play. And it's Williams again, and he's got the first down.
With Chauncey Gardner sticking his nose right in there from the safety position. Those safeties for Florida do not believe that LSU is going to run a play action pass. Now they're sniffing up there. They're almost playing extra linebackers. They line up deep, but there's Chauncey right in the hole, followed by Brad Stewart, number 2, another young true freshman in the game.
Oh, there's going to be another 30 seconds off the clock from the last play ending.
Gardner's right there in the box.
Jet sweep. Florida waiting for it this time.
And that's who made the play.
Adam Zucker in New York with an update. Zuck.
All right, Ness, TCU trying to grind out a win. Former A&M quarterback Kenny Hill, he's thrown one, caught one, showing off his moves on the ground to put TCU back on top, trying to stay undefeated against West Virginia. Back to you.
And we knew those guys when we saw them early in the season were going to be pretty good, and they are.
Yeah, I didn't think that. You know, when I watched that game, I thought it was a bad loss by Arkansas, but you know, it was a better game, and TCU has proven to be better than I thought.
Yeah. Moving up the rankings. Not going to hurt themselves if they hold on and win that.
Absolutely not.
So Florida took a timeout. 4:24 remaining.
Well, the strategy of the game is now unfolded. I mean, this is the way it's going. LSU is going to try to grind out the rest of this clock. If they can kick a field goal, they kick it. But they're willing to say this might be our second to last drive. You know, they want the ball back to take a knee next time. They only want to give Florida the ball one more time in this game.
They've run it 5 times. They've chewed up 3 minutes. Started with 7:22 on the clock at their own 23. Now they got it 2nd and 9.
Just remember this, the right side of that LSU line. 2 true freshmen playing high school ball a year ago.
Williams met in the hole by who else? Chauncey Gardner again.
Yeah, you almost, do you have the guts on first down? If LSU can make one more first down, do they have the guts to go play action pass? Because it's almost goal line defense now for Florida. They don't believe they're going to throw the ball on first down or second down.
And we'll find out about third down. It's third.
True.
3rd down and 10. 3rd and 11 actually.
And just remember the strategy of timeouts in college ball is a lot different than the NFL game. They're just not as valuable. They're more valuable on defense than they are on offense.
And you don't have the 2-minute warning either.
But the first down stoppage of clock is huge for the 2-minute drill in college football.
Remember the 1-point difference. This was it. Pinedo with the missed extra point, but again, it was a spinning hold.
Yeah. I think they put the picture of the wrong guy up, to tell you the truth.
Well, he'd been perfect last year and this year on extra points until that one. All right, LSU, you're going to put the ball in the air or not? 3rd and 11. Etley. Deep left sideline. Almost intercepted. Wow. It was close.
You know, that wouldn't have been the worst thing.
Would have been sort of like a punt.
Exactly. I mean, if it would have been intercepted, it would have been inside the 20-yard line. The worst thing that could have happened would have been an offensive pass interference that time if it would have gone for LSU.
It was Marco Wilson that made the play.
And Stephen Sullivan, 6'6" receiver, that they tried to throw the jump ball, it didn't work.
So Von Rosenberg to punt again.
Good enough.
Brandon Powell says, everybody get out of the way. Ooh, man.
Really good.
Great job.
Yep, really good.
Down around the 3, and it was Russell Gage, the starting wideout, who got down there. And a great job by the punter. So Florida's got 1 timeout. They got 4 minutes to work. And they're deep in their own territory for their redshirt freshman quarterback.
Well, this is the right play. You don't want to catch it if it's inside the 10-yard line. You depend on that thing to take a bounce into the end zone, and it did not. It was a tiger bounce.
Florida at its own 4. Malik Davis with Franks in the end zone to take this first snap. And Malik will get the carry. Only about a yard, though, out to the 5.
If you're Florida, you have to go hurry up. You can't make this your only drive of the game. You have to go thinking that we got to go up-tempo right from the start.
Can they get their kicker in field goal range?
Franks,
3.5 to go.
Franks has only thrown 5 passes in the second half. He's 3 for 5.
In his own end zone, going to throw a screen out. Davis broke 1 tackle, spins his way past another. First down, Florida.
Set up perfectly. An opportunity to make the play, but Devin White does not make the tackle. He gets around the block, but he cannot handle Davis in the backfield.
Malik Davis is going to be special someday. He's already pretty good.
Here goes the Wildcat.
That means Kadarius Toney will take the snap
and
on first down.
Remember, he can throw. He's a high school quarterback.
He's going to keep this one, cut back in the middle. I don't know how he made 5 yards out of that, but he did. Maybe more. But the clock's under 3. Florida with 1 timeout.
Well, the game is set now for Florida. It's 4-down territory right now. They cannot punt that ball away. Every call that they make, they have to be with the understanding they got 4 downs to make a first down.
If you haven't seen Florida play and you wonder what kind of arm Felipe Franks has, we saw it earlier this year, a 66-yarder in the air to win at the final buzzer against Tennessee. And whistle stop play here.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Jawan Taylor, the right tackle, with the false start.
The crowd was getting impatient, and I think Jawan Taylor was getting impatient. Look who he had to block, number 49. He thought he was, but then Arden Key drops on the play.
Lost his focus just for a moment. Franks over the middle, completes it. Well short of the first down to Freddie Swain. And we're down to 2 minutes, and they're hustling up to the line. Remember, 1 timeout's all they've got left.
Got 2 tries, remember, to make this first down if you're Florida.
Davis in the backfield, 3rd and 3, but it's Franks to throw. deep middle and just nobody there.
Yeah, Dante Jackson that time. Number 1 is the guy who put the pressure on Franks. He comes off the edge. Franks can feel it all the way. He runs right through the block and actually pushes Malik Davis into the quarterback. I wonder if they'll put in Thompson into the game to help with the protection. Thompson goes in right now.
Now here's your ball game. If you're a Florida fan, they need 3.
Well, remember that pass that Freddie Swain had an opportunity to make the first down. They need a 4-yard pass.
4th and 3. Franks, plenty of time. Tipped. It doesn't matter if it was intercepted or not. They broke it up. Donnie Alexander got a hand on it. Devin White and Dante Jackson made sure it fell to earth.
Well, smart play by Devin White, number 40. He was lined up close to the line of scrimmage, but he backed off and kept things in front of him, and he's the one that ended up, I think, tipping that ball. Watch him back up in the play and ends up going up and making the defensive play.
It was Devin White right there.
Devin White.
Man, he's made a lot of plays today. None bigger than that, I guess. And it's not going to be a great homecoming for some of the parties around Gainesville tonight because the Gators are going to drop one at home.
Wow, I'm surprised
they don't just kneel down. And Geis going to get dropped for a 3-yard loss.
You know, that exchange was dangerous. There was penetration by that Florida defensive line.
Why are they not just in a victory formation?
They have one timeout. They would have to do something. They cannot run out the whole clock. But look how close that came.
So Florida stops it for the final time.
And we've kind of counted during the break. If LSU takes 2 knees here because Florida cannot stop it, it'll be 4th down with under 10 seconds to go. They should not hand the ball off again.
They do anyway. And Geis dances in the hole, spins his way down to the 20, just trying to find the turf.
You could make an argument if you're Florida to let them score. It would be an 8-point game. At least you have a chance to tie the game. I mean, if I'm Florida, I go score. Please run it one more time. It's our only chance.
Etling looking to the sideline, using as much clock as possible. It's going to be well under a minute.
Because of that run, though, and it took enough time, now the game pretty much is over.
And play clock goes down as LSU takes a timeout with 46 to go. Well, for LSU, if they hang on to this now for 46 seconds, what a way to come back from a loss at home to get a big win on the road.
It feels almost like last year. Everybody just assumed the way Florida was struggling a year ago going into LSU that they would have a tough time to winning that. They pull it out. Same thing the thought is about LSU this year.
Let's take a look at the GMC game changer. We're going to call it for Matt Canada and his offense.
The shifted motion package worked.
Took a lot of grief last week, but some of these kind of plays like the jet sweep to Gage that went for 30 yards on the opening touchdown, and they had a bunch of those today.
Yeah, they are limited in a lot of their pass offense. They've got too many young players in the offensive line. They can't drop back in long yardage situations and comfortably throw the ball. They have to do a lot of this stuff to move the ball.
So Etling under center with Williams behind him. And Williams goes straight on, and Florida doesn't give him a score that Gary talked about.
And that'll be the game.
That should be it.
Yep. They used it. They used the last few seconds by being willing to run the ball. They have more guts than I do. I'd been taking a knee. Hey, Ed Orgeron called out his team, told everybody we were going to play Tiger football, And I think they played tough physical football play this week against Florida.
So the final seconds tick away. LSU is going to go to 4-2, 1-1 in the conference. Florida, their first loss in SEC play, and they'll drop to 4-1. And the celebration starts on the Gators' home field for LSU. Another tight one, as so many of these have been over now 64 meetings. That's only the second loss here for Jim McElwain in the Swamp in his third year as the head coach. Let's take a look at our Napa play of the game. This is the one that iced it. The tight end, or H-back number 44, the freshman, all alone. Could have thrown it to either one of those guys for the touchdown. That ended up being the difference. That made it 17-10, then a missed extra point. And so Florida never had a chance after that as LSU takes it down, runs out the clock, and comes up with a huge win in Gainesville. Final score, LSU 17, Florida 16. We'll see you next week somewhere. It'll be fun, just like this one, I guarantee you. For Gary Danielson and Allie LaForce, Brad Nessler saying so long from the Swamp. Final score 17-16. College football postgame show powered by Ram is up next right after these messages.